dramatic and charismatic. Gotta live static, gotta get at it. Never pragmatic, cause we live tragic. I can't live average, to be alive's magic. Turn it up in the back cause I'm grabbing everything I want, get in my way and I'm stabbing. I'll be moving crowds till I'm 6 feet napping. They need another fix, hooked on like an addict. I got my eyes on the prize and it's changing lives. I wanna live till I die, make a difference, right? I wanna give those in need a reason to fight. I wanna live every day like it's my last night. I wanna change how we play the game, rearrange all the pieces till they say my name. Push an agenda against doing what they say. I wanna stand up and start a revolution. I wanna 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 start a revolution.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Turning the cameras here. Ooh, what a busy day. I had a good day today. Had fun. Went over to Massachusetts. Had a great meal. Early lunch, but it was kind of like lunch dinner. It was really delicious. And I had a really good time. Now I'm back here. Trying to get my things in order. My head is pounding. I don't know why, but now I just started feeling this really hard pressure in my brain. It's I don't know. Could it be a headache? Yeah, I mean, it could be a headache. It could be a migraine. I don't know. What's the difference between a headache and a migraine? I don't know. It's fucking pain in the head. Um, and There might be some breaking news. It seems like Connecticut, the state of Connecticut, is defying the orders of the president of the United States in Washington, and they went ahead and funded EBT. So, if you live in Connecticut and you're wondering, do I have money in my EBT? Yes, you do. Check your account. You have a deposit, and go out and get yourself some groceries. But for some reason, Connecticut decided to go ahead today and put in the full amount for EBT for the month of November. And this is only, I believe, in the state of Connecticut. It's not being reported in the news. Of course not. But call up your food card real quick and check for yourself. And you'll see you'll have a deposit in there for a certain amount of money. It's the full amount, depending on the person, whatever you know your amount that you get per month. Well, that amount has been deposited into your account. So make sure to go out and get yourself your groceries. Make sure you buy yourself some rice, some beans, the really necessary things, because we don't know if we're gonna have it for December. So this is like to get us through November, get through Thanksgiving. We don't know about December, but for right now, Connecticut, you have your EBT. And yours didn't get deposited? Oh, Terry, are you kidding me? Mine's got deposited, but I guess, I don't know. But it has been deposited. Just double check that, Terry, because this happened today at around 12 o'clock. And I did get a message stating here they're going to be sending out some paperwork to every individual in the state of Connecticut. Let me see, I have it here. Give me 1 second. So the SNAP rules, okay. This is what Connecticut wrote. They're so funny. SNAP rules have changed because of a new federal law called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. You should get a letter in the mail this week that explains the changes. Okay, so why did they have to specify and why they had to put SNAP rules have changed? Why? Because of the new federal law called the One Big Beautiful Bill. Why would you word it that way? I don't know. Call it in. Don't check the app. Call it in. You got to call it in because I called mine in and I did get the deposit. So I don't know if it's per section, per what, but they are depositing the money into the accounts. So, and I'm proof. I got my deposit. So, I don't know. It's because I used to be in the military or what. I don't know. There's a lot of things that play, I guess, in deciding. I don't know how that works, but yeah, it's been deposited. Let's see, and that was as of today. It was deposited. I was kind of like had to take a second look. I was like, "Are you sure?" And I looked into it. It's like, "Yep, it's been here." It says it right here. Breaking news: Governor Lamont says Connecticut SNAP recipients now have full November benefits loaded onto their cards. This is it's right here. Here, I'll show it to you guys. And this is breaking news. There you go. Let's see if we can get it any closer. Let's see if we can get it closer. There it is. Oh no, there it is. Let me turn it sideways, maybe. It doesn't pick up the red and the white pretty good. It's hold on. Let me try to get this. Maybe if I stand in front of it. Yeah, the red and the white is not good, but as you can see, breaking news: Governor Lamont says Connecticut SNAP recipients now have full November benefits loaded onto their cards. Now, if you don't have it loaded into your card, I can't really specify why not. But all I know is mine's got deposited, and that's breaking news. And I was trying to find a news article about it, but I don't see any of the news agencies reporting on it yet. And maybe it's a slow process depending on the person or what. I really don't know how they are doing this to begin with. I don't even know why I got my deposited in, because in reality, I'm not supposed to. So not only me, but everyone is not supposed to, because that's still in limbo. That's still in a hold. But I don't know if Connecticut took out some funds and rerouted a couple of funds and was able to make it happen. Is it depending on the severity of disability on people that are getting the benefits? I really don't know how is it working. I just don't know. All I know is a deposit was made into my account, and that's the only thing I could let you guys know. But yeah, CT Access Health CT will not pay for careless metformin. That's, I don't know about the health insurance part. I don't know. You really gonna have to look into that one, Terry, because that's more into Husky, into the Access Health. That you're gonna have to call them up to figure that out, because that's more of the insurance part. But the food stamps and EBT are being loaded onto the cards. I don't know if it's going to take a process, maybe today and tomorrow, or how they're breaking it down. I just don't know. I'm just letting you know it's been deposited, and I'm like, damn, should I go to the grocery store or not? It's like, yes and no, Terry. The food is not part of the medical. The medical, you have CT Health, but CT Health is also broken down to parts, and their food and insurance is not the same. You could call them and they break it down into certain parts, but they're not part of the same. It's not the same. I've dealt with them before. And they're going to be sending out letters next week, I believe. And I guess you're going to have to, let me see what it says here. Got it right here. It says here, new as of noon. As of this afternoon, we can confirm that all Connecticut SNAP recipients now have full November benefits on their EBT cards. Please check your card balance. Visit mydds.ct.gov or call 1-888-328-2666. People depend on the support, and Connecticut is stepping up. And that is a message from our leader here. Our Governor Lamont sent this on X today, and about 360,000 people in Connecticut receive SNAP benefits. This new information came after federal judges said Trump administration must fully fund SNAP benefits in November. People relying on SNAP can check their balances, but also call that number because it's telling you to call. The system is fucked. Okay, let's come to agreement on that. The system is going to be haywire for a little bit, because you got to remember that they're putting out all 360,000 people money on their cards, and they're fully loaded. They're loading it up, so even the illegals are getting their EBTs. So it's not like, and I wonder if it's because Lamont took certain funds from, because we have a surplus here in Connecticut. And I'm wondering if they took the money from the surplus and put it, I think I'm right because the train of truth is here, got that money and funded for the month of November. Now, I don't know how all this is going to work out down the line. December, there's no answers or there's nothing on for December. But yeah, I mean, I have it right here. I have the tweet right here. So it's a wild thing. I know, train of truth. It is wild. But I hope it gets onto everybody's because especially here in Connecticut, like I know Terry could really use that. And and if there's something wrong because with the insurance or something, that's another story. But as far as the food stamps, they got deposited, and you may have to give them a call and figure it out. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and keep moving along. Let's see, we got some news up here. Got a couple of news lineups, a good little lineup for tonight. This show is not gonna be too long, maybe a 2-hour show. Because I do have a little headache going on. I don't know if it's because of all the pressure in my brain that I've been having, and I've been having like these rude awakenings, and my brain's been acting a little weird. But it's okay. I'm gonna try to figure everything out with this here within the next few weeks, and we'll get some answers. And listen, we only have one life to live, and we live it to the fullest. And when it's our time to go, it's our time to go. We want to fight and stay here for as long as we can, but we're not guaranteed, So, and that goes for me and everyone who listens to me and everyone who doesn't listen to me. One day they will die. So, live your life to the fullest and don't worry, because the more you worry, the faster you die. And that's the damn truth. And with that said, let's go ahead and check out the news. Here we go.
The Supreme Court granting the Trump administration's emergency appeal to temporarily block a court order to fully fund SNAP food aid payments amid the government shutdown.
The order coming as the Agriculture Department was working to comply with the previous order to provide November's SNAP benefits.
Here to react is Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. Brooke, it's so great to have you back. We've been talking about ratings. So last week we had you on to talk about SNAP. You posted that, and you got 40 million views. I want to ask you about what's happening with that ruling last night, but tell me why you think that went so viral.
Well, it's interesting, Rachel. I have been doing this for a really long time, and we talked about this last Saturday, that listen, people want the government open. They want those who are the most vulnerable, who are hungry, to make sure that they are fed. That's the SNAP program. But within all of that, the level of fraud and corruption and double dipping and selling benefits is astounding. And I think it hit a nerve with America to have our discussion. 40 million people watch it about how corrupt the SNAP program is, how we have to fix it. I think just tells you that Americans are
here it is on the news.
They're not okay with government as usual.
I got it on the news here.
Turn the house up, and that's what we're doing.
Connecticut is funding full. They're loading up the cards.
Has found that anywhere from 50 to 60%
Look into it, Terry.
Households that are headed by illegal immigrants,
they loaded up the
rely
cards
on SNAP benefits and other programs similar to that. Is there a problem with that?
Well, we at the almost the very beginning, I think on my first
see if they
day,
have
I
a
sent a
video.
letter to every governor in America saying, send us your data. No illegal aliens on any SNAP or food stamp or WIC program, period, full stop. Everyone said, oh, no, we're not doing that. It is illegal. I mean, it is not
The videos, yeah.
allowable. However, the 29 states, mostly red states that sent us their data, what we found was really astounding. And now we're in lawsuits to get the rest of the data so that we can work to fix this. So there is no doubt that there is a massive, massive fraud in the program. But having said that, the Democrats have voted 15 times to not fund SNAP. There are legitimate families in this country that rely on that program to feed their family. We got to get the government open.
Right. So, Madam Secretary, what is your reaction to this judge's ruling?
Well, so last night, just to very quickly summarize for everyone, the Constitution, basically the executive branch takes the money from from Congress, from the legislative branch. This goes back to the very beginning. We just can't create money out of the sky. That's not how the United States work. It's interesting, the No Kings rally, right? Where they said, we don't want a king in America, except now they want a king that can create money out of the sky, the clear blue sky. And so a very leftist judge in Rhode Island said, oh, go create the money, everybody, go find it. And then the First Circuit basically agreed with that. But last night, y'all, Judge Ketanji Brown, no great friend of, free market and constitutional government, said, no, we need to stay this for 48 hours. The First Circuit needs to take another good look at this, that this probably is not constitutional. You can't just create money to fund a program that Congress refuses to fund.
All right, Secretary, we want to get to this because President Trump just posted this on social media last night. It says, while cattle prices have dropped substantially, the price of box beef has gone up. Therefore, you know that something is fishy. We will get to the bottom of it very quickly. There is criminality. Those people responsible will pay a steep price. And we're looking at right now on our screen, I don't know if you can see it, just the increase in beef prices, for ground beef.
Send the article to Terry. Terry, I'm going to send the article to you
knows that that's
on
happening.
Discord.
So I want you to address what the president's talking about, possible collusion or monopolies among the meat packers. But then I also want you to address something that we've been talking a lot about on the couch, which is the overregulation of processing, so that I don't personally want my meat brought from like these big, huge slaughterhouses and meat packing places. I want it to come from a small local place, but they're overregulated and they can't compete. So address both of those things.
That's right. Well, a couple of really important points here. First, that the president's promise to Americans to make America affordable again.
All right, I send you the information to you,
mom, Rachel,
Terry.
As many children, myself.
You can read the article for yourself.
We are able to put the best food on the table. We can afford it. We don't have to skip over that part of the grocery store because it's too expensive. So that's the first part. The second part is that this president is so focused on American families, the American dream, and American farmers and ranchers. In the last decade, we've lost over 107,000 ranchers in this country as the entire industry has consolidated. And what the president was talking about yesterday is 85% of our beef in America goes through 4 big companies. 2 of those are not even American-owned companies. So these are massive policy challenges, how much we pay for our beef, where it's sourced from, and whether we've got a national security issue on our hands, right? If you can't feed yourself, you're not secure as a nation. So that's what the president was really focusing on yesterday, and I think it's really, really important. Rachel, to your point, you and I have talked a lot about this, the make America healthy again, how we get better, more nutritious foods. The fact that a cattle rancher in Virginia has to haul his cattle to the middle of the country, Nebraska, to get processed, and then who knows where it goes. We are opening up the markets. We released a pretty significant plan 2 weeks ago, supporting smaller ranchers, supporting local processing. We'll have a lot more coming on that, supporting in-state sales across the state line. USDA doesn't have to be a part of all of that. We can rely on our states to do it.
Amen.
So I'm excited. I think there's so much we're going to be able to do on
We're
this.
excited too. We're obsessed with this. Come back and give us all the updates. We want them.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
I will. Thank y'all.
Man, that forehead, I cannot get used to. I just don't. It's like every time I see her, I think of like the Cleons. Yeah, I sent you the article, Terry, to the Discord. So you could tap into it and check it out for yourself, because it is very important, and food insecurity is a big issue, and a lot of people do need their stamps to get food and to take care of themselves and to be fed. And the fact that the article saying that they established and put the funds into the accounts, but then Terry didn't get it. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. Shimmer Blast. Let's see. Maybe we could jump onto this article next. See this here. All right, let's watch.
Taking to Truth Social earlier this morning, writing, quote, I am recommending to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad health care provided by Obamacare be sent directly to the people so that they can purchase their own much better health care and have money left over. In other words, take from the big bad insurance companies, give it to the people, and terminate per dollar spent the worst health care anywhere in the world, Obamacare. Unrelated, we must still terminate the filibuster. Here to react, Oklahoma Senator and GOP Conference Vice Chair James Langford. Senator, thanks for being here. Let me just get your reaction to what President Trump is really putting out on Truth Social.
Yeah, it's one of the key reasons that we have continued to be able to push back on what Chuck Schumer is trying to be able to peddle. He's saying, hey, let's just do a 1-year extension of these Obamacare subsidies. And the general media gets out there and says, that sounds so reasonable. But what they're really saying is send $40 billion straight to insurance companies that some of them have had between 500 and 1,000% increase in their stock just since the time of Obamacare. So they're saying send all this money to insurance companies and it'll be fine. What the Democrats are not saying is it's pumping money to insurance companies, not to people to be able to help.
Yay, fucking Terry!
The select group that they
yes,
have
at least you got to.
It's not.
I told you could fucking get it.
Most people's insurance rates are going to continue to go up.
Dude,
Democrats
Terry,
are trying to subsidize.
I'm a psychic, man.
Folks.
I'm
it's
good.
Also funding directly.
I'm really good at what I do.
And
I know you just met me, but
this was their end around to be able to fund elective abortions by sending money to insurance company, then allowing the insurance to be able to cover abortions as well. So the dutiful media just continues to be able to say this sounds so reasonable from Chuck Schumer, but the facts belie that.
I know.
Well, so to be fair, we'll let you hear a little bit of, let our viewers hear a little bit of what Chuck Schumer
that's so cool, Terry. I'm happy for you.
Democrats are ready to clear the way to quickly pass a government funding bill that includes health care affordability. Leader Thune just needs to add a clean 1-year extension of the ACA tax credits to the CR so that we can immediately address rising health care costs. The ball is in the Republicans'
Nice,
court.
Terry. I told you, man. I told you. I knew it. Yes. I know.
But Senator, you say no thanks.
I say absolutely no thanks. His statement of just Republicans.
You don't have it's not as bad, but they're not going to hurt you because you have a $10,000 light bill
to insurance companies.
They're not going to do
select
that.
Group of people not to help.
But I'm so happy that you got the card.
Send
I
money
am so
to
happy
people
for you, man.
Up to $500
At least I give you some wiggle room.
That's what their subsidies for, and also folks on the lower
end
of it, where they're
doing a little wiggle
zero
room.
premiums there. We've actually found there's a tremendous amount of fraud where insurance companies are signing up people that don't even know they have the coverage. So Democrats are saying, let's just keep that rolling. That's working good for us. Let's just keep that rolling. The American taxpayer saying, nope, that's not what we're looking for.
And Senator, just in the last few seconds I do want to get your take on where you stand. Would you support breaking the filibuster, even if in a narrow appropriations lane, to open the government back up?
Yeah, I don't support breaking the filibuster because I've seen up close and personal what Joe Biden would do. If Donald Trump was president from here on out, that wouldn't be an issue, but it's not going to be forever. I don't know who's the president 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Once you break it, you break it. And I know what Joe Biden would have done with that.
Senator James Langford,
take advantage of the country
for taking time and giving us your insight.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Hey, it's Will
That's
Kane.
one thing that
Subscribe to the Fox.
I'm going against Trump, and that's the filibuster. To get rid of the filibuster, I say no, because if a Democrat was to get into office and become president, he's going to take advantage of that, and he's going to do really bad harm to this country. And you don't want to Zohan Madani president of the United States, and then he has his hands on everything because he has the control of the filibuster, and he's gonna have everything go his way, and they're like, it's a shit show. And Trump is not understanding that. He's trying to just force the issue and trying to like not let the Democrats, just push them away and let's do it ourselves and just get rid of the filibuster. And it's only going to take a 51 vote to open up the government, which they already have 53. But I say no. It's drag it out. If it keeps dragging out and the Democrats want to drag it out, that's upon them. It's going to hurt their constituents. It's going to hurt their people. It's going to help. It's not going to help, but it's going to hurt a lot of these TSA workers, these tower workers, our government workers. We just think, oh, it's just the TSA. No, it's all government workers. The only ones that are getting paid are those senators and those, all those that are in the uppers. They're still getting their checks. That's not a problem. Congress is still getting their check. The House is still getting their check. The Senate is still getting their check. But all the other government workers, you ain't getting shit. You ain't getting nothing. You're going to have to eat beans and rice. And you're lucky you're getting beans. That's crazy, man. But Terry, man, I'm happy you got the credit card. I knew it. Look, I have my setup here. You want to see my psychic setup? Here, look. Let me set it up here. And I got my little setup here. Actually, I want to turn on this candle. Maybe I could get to do that. Vivid. There we go. Let's bring some light on this side. There we go. So this is my little psychic setup. I do my work right here. This is behind the scenes because you see my hands right here and you see my hands over here. Yeah, this is my working area. And this is what's always in front of me at all times. Every time I'm doing a show and I'm doing everything, this is what is in front of me right here. Oh, yeah. The most important thing. Let's put this over here. You see, I got my cards here. And they're nice and ready to go. We're probably going to do a reading later tonight. It's really nice. All right, so there you go. You saw that real quick. Let's go ahead and take that camera down. Let's bring it back to me. And maybe I'll do a reading tonight. That'll be fun. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Okay, let's go over to this one and let's watch.
DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin joins me now. Tricia, I go through those security lines. I see our TSA workers. I see Christy Noem up there. DHS, one of their 22 entities that you oversee.
And had no insurance.
Is our TSA
Fuck Obama.
workers.
I can't stand that motherfucker. He's just
traffic
stupid.
controllers.
But that Obamacare was a ripoff. That's what it was. It hurt a lot of low class, middle class people.
On this issue and making sure that American travelers
Kayla's
still have the same
birthday
standard of
is
security.
covered.
But with each
Oh,
passing
I
day,
bought her
American travelers are really
$100
going
Visa
to be
gift card.
facing
Aw,
increased delays
that's so
and
nice.
increased implications.
Shit,
that
$100.
happen
That's a good
because our
shopping.
TSA workers
Kayla would be
are
happy
going
shopping.
without pay,
Get some
as you
goodies.
mentioned. We have talked to many officers who they're sleeping in their cars. They have just tens of dollars left in their bank account. It really is becoming a huge issue, and they're having to face the question: do they put gas in their car to get to work to serve the American
TSA
people,
working
or do they stay
without
back at
pay
home so that they
as
can pay for
travelers'
groceries
trouble
for their
mounts?
family? The fact of the matter is, Senate Democrats continue to put the American traveler in this terrible position. They also put the federal workers who serve Americans each
Her
and every
birthday's
day
on the
now are
17th.
going
Oh, that's
on
cool.
historic days without pay.
Tricia, you just said
That
there are
is
TSA
on.
workers sleeping in their cars.
Was that on Wednesday?
That's right. And again, you just mentioned Ron Johnson
17th?
presented a bill just
No,
yesterday
that would be on a
that would have
Tuesday.
paid for federal workers and put them out of this position.
No,
And
Monday.
they're sleeping in their cars.
Okay, Monday.
Wow. And just 3 Democrats on board with that vote. It's unbelievable. And allegedly the party of the working man and woman there, not so much.
A week and a
Tricia,
half
I
away.
do want to move on to
Okay,
some news that came
cool.
out this week. There was an individual, his name was Sean Dunn, who flung a sandwich at a CBP officer.
Did you get the article, Terry,
harmless
that I sent you on
gesture.
Discord?
He was acquitted by a jury, despite it being pretty clearly on video what he did. Let's listen to what he said in the wake of that exoneration by a jury.
And that night, I believe that I was protecting the rights of immigrants. And let us not forget that the Great Seal of the United States says e pluribus unum. That means from many, one. Every life matters, no matter where you came from, no matter how you got here, no matter how you identify. You have the right to live a life that is free. Thank you.
Sean, what does that have to do with throwing a sandwich?
He didn't answer that question. What message does that send when you could just throw sandwiches at CBP officials?
What an embarrassment.
Exactly.
Can you imagine assaulting a federal officer and then getting up grandstanding, wagging your finger at the American public? The American people have a right to safety and security.
You see, that's assault right there.
Officers in Washington, D.C.
You know, that's crazy. And he got away with it.
Are bringing to American streets
He got away with
every
it.
single day. And this is as they're facing.
But I bet you if he was black, he wouldn't get away with it. They probably would have killed his ass.
And it gets even worse than throwing a sandwich. We're seeing terrorist attacks against them, people shooting at them, rocks being pummeled at them. It's no laughing matter. And this is just another despicable example of people putting dangerous rhetoric out there that put our law enforcement in danger.
You teed me up perfectly. Dangerous rhetoric. So you have the guy throwing a sandwich. Let's just let him off. No worries. Throw sandwiches at elected law enforcement officers. Then you've got the rhetoric coming from officials. Listen to this city council woman in Washington. She wants you to fight ICE.
We've seen in other communities where it's been the community then taking it upon themselves to essentially fight back against ICE in their communities. So basically what we're letting our community know is, hey, from a city perspective, we really can't do anything. And it's upon you then to stand up and fight back against ICE in our communities.
I can't support or advocate for that.
Fight ICE. We are just about a month out from a terrorist attack, you noted, on ICE in Dallas.
It's absolutely despicable. And we're seeing this time and time again from Democrat politicians. That's looking like obstruction of justice, encouraging that. You're putting law enforcement in danger, you're putting the migrants themselves in danger, and you're putting the public in danger. But I also have to say, those in this country illegally have a choice. And they're making the choice to stay in this country when the American people have so generously offered those in this country illegally $1,000 and a free flight home, the opportunity to preserve the ability to potentially come back the legal right way. But if they don't take that generous opportunity from the American taxpayer, they will be arrested and they will be deported and not be able to come back to the United States of America.
You know, I also just want to quickly do this. We only have a few moments, Tricia, but I once served, as you know, press secretary in the White House in D.C. You are serving in a similar role there at DHS, and you have to combat the media lying actively about ICE. And this week, here's an example of that. Don't know whether she was lying, just didn't have her facts, but this is LA Times. During a Border Patrol operation outside a Cypress Park Home Depot yesterday, agents detained a U.S. citizen they accused of assault. The agents drove off with his one-year-old daughter in the back seat. I mean, it sounds like a horrible situation, but there's more to the story.
Oh, there's way more to the story. And we saw MSNBC and other politicians claiming that our ICE law enforcement kidnapped this child. What the truth is and what the facts are is that this individual, this father who was driving this car, he's a U.S. citizen, he has a child in the back seat. He left his car, went outside where there was an operation going on conducted by our CBP officials, and he came out wielding a hammer and began throwing rocks at our law enforcement.
What?
He was arrested, of course, for assaulting law enforcement. He abandoned the child in that car to assault federal officers. When he was arrested, it was found that there was a stolen gun in that car, and he also had a pending citation elsewhere out of New York. This is not a good individual, and yet the media continues, including the LA Times, to whitewash the facts and defend violent criminals who assault law enforcement.
Oh, but the media made him sound so innocent. Tricia McLaughlin, keep up the great work. Thank you.
Hey everyone,
That's
I'm
what they
Emily
do.
Campagno. Catch me and my
Emily!
co-host Harris
Come on,
Faulkner.
Emily. Let me go, Emily. I know you want to see me every night. It's okay. Thank you, Emily. Yeah. I just think that the whole system, the way how the Democrat is running, and how all these people that think they have power, in reality they don't, but they take it to the head because they're very narcissistic. So it's like once they have power, they want more power, and if they don't get more power, they will do everything they can to disrupt the system because they want control. It's just Democrats have become the biggest narcissistic like group ever. They're a bunch of narcissistic Karens. And I'm talking about like grade A crazy Karens for sure. Let's see here what we got. Okay, let's check this out because I guess this is important too. A liberal hive mind. Let's go ahead and check that out. Let's go ahead and put a sound up.
On a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's your meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, there it is. We've got another offer from Chuck Schumer. But as usual, I'd say it's less of an offer and more of an insult, just like the last time. Democrats, of course, voting to shut down the government, Snap going insolvent. And his offer was, allow us to continue this shutdown as we extort you, but bail us out of this whole Snap thing. Well, that obviously wasn't a good faith offer. It wasn't a serious deal. It was a trap. And now this new latest Chuck Schumer offer, frankly, I think is just as unserious as the last. Basically, it's what we covered yesterday, except there's a little bit of a twist. You know, we had some Democrats that were seemingly negotiating in the back rooms of Congress to reopen the government, but Chuck Schumer has stepped in and applied his touch, and it's just as manipulative and snaky as you might frickin' imagine. I'll show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so here's the latest Chuck Schumer announcement. Here he is giving his offer to Republicans in the Senate.
We'd like to offer a simple proposal that would reopen the government and extend the ACA premium tax credits simultaneously, and then have the opportunity to start negotiating longer-term solutions to healthcare costs. Democrats are offering a very simple compromise. Democrats are ready to clear the way to quickly pass a government funding bill that includes healthcare affordability. Leader Thune just needs to add a clean one-year extension of the ACA tax credits to the CR so that we can immediately address rising healthcare costs. That's not a negotiation. It's an extension of current law, something we do all the time around here. But we also offer this. Let's create a bipartisan committee that will continue negotiations after the government reopens on reforms, ahead of next year's enrollment period, to provide long-term certainty that healthcare costs will be more affordable. This proposal reopens the government and ensures working families who are shopping right now for their healthcare get certainty and financial relief. While open enrollment has begun, insurers can update their rates after we pass a simple extension of the tax credits. With this approach, we do not negotiate health care in the shutdown as Leader Thune has maintained he wishes, and the American people get the tax credit extension they want. We will agree with the Republican request not to start negotiations until after the government reopens. All Republicans have to do is say yes to extend current law for 1 year. This is a reasonable offer that reopens the government, deals with health care affordability, and begins a process of negotiating reforms to the ACA tax credits for the future. Now, the ball is in the Republicans' court. We need Republicans to just say yes.
Reopen the government as long as Republicans give us a one-year subsidy Band-Aid fix to failing Obamacare, and then, of course, pledge to negotiate. Negotiate what exactly? Because from what I remember, initially, nothing was negotiable. It was all a non-negotiable. Give us everything we want or else everyone's gonna die. It's the $1.5 trillion government slush fund that they wanted reinstated, but now they only want 1 year to kick the can down the road on the Obamacare issue.
No.
Something stinks to the frickin' high heavens. And obviously, we know exactly what it is. Isn't it clear? Isn't it obvious what's going on behind this Chuck Schumer demand? It's not a coincidence that he only wants it for 1 year. Certainly no coincidence. No, more like calendar. What happens in exactly 1 year, pretty much?
midterm.
Oh, yeah. It's the 2026 midterm election.
Yep. And then the midterm.
I can already see it. 2026 right around the corner. It's October. Republicans raised your healthcare premiums. Republican healthcare crisis.
You do
Rinse
it all
and
over again.
repeat. You know, the Democrats have been wandering over the last 11 months, searching far and wide like Ash frickin' Ketchum from Pokemon, looking real hard trying to find their midterm issue, right? It wasn't Tesla. It wasn't Doge. It wasn't, taking Social Security away from my grandpa. It wasn't No Kings. That certainly failed. It wasn't Jimmy Kimmel being the victim of far-right Trumpian fascism. And so now I guess this is the last-ditch effort. You know, create another manufactured crisis that conveniently expires in 2026, right ahead of the midterm election. Let's vote to continue it for 1 year, then fail to negotiate for the next 12 months, and then just continuously fearmonger about healthcare premiums as the next stunt to get people to the polls in 2026. The entire thing is a trap. And you know what? It's exactly what we expect from Democrats, right? They're not interested in solving problems.
No,
The
they're not.
unaffordability of Obamacare, the rising cost of healthcare, is a serious issue. But they don't want to pass new legislation. They don't want to work with Republicans to fix the system, to tackle insurance companies. They don't want to tackle the systemic corruption happening in Washington. Actually, I got a video here, which I think sums it up perfectly.
Obama made you buy health insurance, and Biden made you pay less, but only temporarily. And now both parties are letting your premium skyrocket in 2025. And it's not by accident, it's a bribe. Biden's discounts expire in 2025, and your bill goes up by 200 to 300%. Right now, if your premium is $600 a month, you pay $400 a month. And the government sends $200 straight to the insurance companies. That's $24 billion a year in free money to big insurance. But in 2025, those discounts disappear and your bill goes back to $600 or higher because Democrats let it happen. They know and they don't care. They expanded these subsidies in 2021 temporarily, not to help you to buy votes in 2022 and 2024. Now the election is over and your bill goes up. But their donors, they're still getting paid. This isn't about health care. It's a cash pipeline to insurance companies. They lobby for subsidies. They donate to keep them coming. And when the subsidies expire, they blame the other side while raking in billions. Trump didn't create this. Obama did. And Biden extended it, but only until after the election. And now they're gridlocked. They're not fighting for you.
They're trying to
Democrats
extend it a
are
year.
fighting for their next campaign donation check from United Healthcare, Pfizer, and Blue Cross. They know what's coming. They know your premiums are about to explode if they haven't already. And they know that you'll be begging for relief this year. And they know that you'll blame the other party while they cash their check.
Trust me when I tell you, they don't want to actually have a conversation about the core issue behind healthcare premiums skyrocketing. No, they don't want to address any of that. They just want to kick it around like a political football. It's all about narrative. Democrats love a crisis, especially if it's a crisis of dependency, because they can use that power. They can wield it as a weapon. They've created a culture of dependence, which they can now yank at any time. They could threaten at any time. They could schedule it so that it happens at the most opportune time for them, and then create a whole campaign narrative around it. I mean, it's totally crazy, but it's also utterly transparent. The Democrats went on forever. Unless we get full capitulation on all of our demands, we will never reopen government. And notice how all of a sudden that's pivoted. Well, what has changed? Well, what's changed is that they actually were able to juice turnout on November 4th. At least that's the way that it seems on paper. They galvanized their base. And so now they're thinking, oh, well, there's the strategy. And so it's not about the policy. It's not about securing these healthcare premiums long term. It's not about fixing the problem. It's about yet again manufacturing those same conditions to benefit them in the next midterm election. And so, look, here's where I land. I know it may sound harsh, but you can't give in. It's a big mistake if you do. Now, it seems like President Trump is relatively unmoved. I don't think he's really going to budge. Obviously, we'll have to see if the Senate follows suit. But in my view, you just can't negotiate with policy terrorism. That's essentially what this is. There's a cost of rewarding this kind of tactic. And that cost, I think, would be permanent. You know, of course, there's doing what's politically expedient. It seems like it's turning against Republicans to a certain extent, turning against President Trump. Again, it's hard to tell whether those are push polls or not. We'll have to let time pass a little bit. But obviously, there's a heavy pressure campaign right now as the mainstream media is carrying water for the Democrat narrative. And so the easy path might be giving in. Just give in to the Democrat ransom, open government, and move on. And while that might be, in a way, the political move, long term, it's a big mistake. And just ethically, it's a big mistake. Sometimes, rather than doing what's politically expedient, I think you have to do what is right. And I think what's right here is telling the Democrats to go F themselves. Do not validate yet again another electoral scheme, more political engineering. Hold the line. Do not allow them to manufacture yet again another crisis, doing the right political thing just to get a weekend headline. Well, I think that's how you lose in the long term. That's how you lose the war. And that's how you enable more of these Democrat shenanigans. I think Republicans should hold strong, but of course, that's just one man's opinion. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
There you go, Liberal Hive Mind. Thank you for that great update, man. Like he does great. He does a lot of updates, and he puts up on his channel, and really cool, really cool. I like following him and listening to him. We got some more stories. Let's see what else we got here. But yeah, these guys, these assholes are still getting paid while government employees are literally working for free. Yes. And I feel bad for the government workers because it's not just TSA, it's not just the tower workers. You understand? There's like park rangers, the people that like help run Statue of Liberty, all national parks. We're talking about like NASA. We're talking about like anything governmental, military. All of them are not like Trump. Try to find a way to help pay for the military. There was a great, large, beautiful donation of $130 million that helped fund for the military's pay for like 2 weeks, I believe it was. That was just enough money just to get them through a couple of paychecks. But this is unacceptable. And the fact that the Democrats are like, yeah, but if they go ahead and give us another year, and then we'll go ahead and we'll vote on to open the government. No, that's not what's called a clean CR bill, dummy. You're putting attachments and you're putting shit on it like you want to push your Obamacare for like another year. Are you kidding me? We don't want that shit. We need to destroy it and get rid of it. You know, and the fact that they want to keep holding on to it, it just raises more questions. Who are the Democrats really like for? Are they for themselves or are they for the people? Because the last time I checked, government is supposed to be for the people, by the people. I don't understand. Democrats are the worst party right now in the face of this earth. And they're only going to continue to go downwards. And the fact that they just continue to go downwards, and yeah, they have their little wins and their little midterms. Yay, we got Madani. Okay, great. Now suffer for 4 years. And then don't come crying. Oh my God, he's the worst. Oh my God, I can't believe he did all this. And I'm just going to look at you like you're stupid and crazy. And we're going to tell you all together. We told you so. And that's just it. That's just what it is. Let's go ahead and continue on with the news.
And welcome back in here to Live now from Fox as we continue to follow some breaking news out of Tampa. A devastating scene in that region overnight. In Ybor City, 4 people are dead and 11 others hurt after a speeding driver lost control and plowed into a crowd of pedestrians.
What?
It started as a reckless driver being tracked by their air unit and ended when that car crashed right into a popular bar along 7th Avenue. Fox 13's Regina Gonzalez live there at the scene this morning. Good morning to you, Regina. And it looks like it is still a very active scene.
It is, Christy. Good morning to you. That's right. It has been hours since this happened in the middle of the night at this point. But as you can see behind me, still a very active, much less heartbreaking scene. If you're familiar with Ybor City here in Tampa,
Yep, I used to go there.
popular spot to go out, especially on a Friday
Ybor
night.
City.
Everyone was just out here walking, having
Wow.
fun, and then tragedy happened. Now,
That's
we can
sad.
tell you that the establishment behind this City of Tampa police car, they've kind of blocked the scene, but the car crashed into a crowd of pedestrians before smashing into the front of a place called
I used to
Bradley's
walk
on
at
7th.
Ybor
It's
City.
kind of a bar,
I
nightclub.
used to go to a
Again,
couple of
very popular
clubs,
spot,
and I
especially
went
on
to a comedy
Friday. Now,
club
Tampa
there.
police in a press conference a few hours ago say this all began just after
That's where I saw
12:30 this
Cheech and
morning when
Chong
their air unit
in
spotted
Ybor
2
City,
cars
Tampa.
racing on some local streets a couple of miles away from this area. One of them then merged onto the highway, I-275 southbound, and TPD's air service began tracking it from above. It exited off a downtown interchange exit and then headed this way. That's when Florida Highway Patrol troopers got involved. They were basically the closest units. They tried a pit maneuver, but it was unsuccessful because of the driver's high speed. Troopers say they disengaged for safety reasons. And then moments later, investigators say the vehicle continued east into Ybor City here, speeding down busy 7th Avenue and right near North 15th Street where we're standing, lost control, slammed into a crowd and the front of Bradley's on 7th. And that's
Oh
when
my
witnesses like
God.
Howard Hopkins, who you're about to hear from, say chaos erupted and officers rushed to help.
Oh my God.
About to sit down with the pizza, and it just happened. It went, tables went everywhere, chairs went everywhere, some bodies went everywhere. It was pretty bad.
Now, police say 4 people who were all over the age of 20 were killed, 3 here at the scene, 1 later at a local hospital. We know 11 others were injured. 1 is in critical condition. Tampa Police Chief Lee Burkow called this a senseless tragedy and say both TPD and FHP are committed to getting justice for the victims and their families. Now, the driver within the last few hours has been identified as a 22-year-old man from Dade City. His name is Silas Sampson. We can tell you he's in custody this morning and he's facing 4 counts of vehicular homicide.
Don't tell me it
with
was
additional
Sampson.
felony charges expected as this investigation continues. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Regina Gonzalez, thank you so much for checking in with us here this morning. We appreciate it. And as you heard Regina say, we did hear from officials a bit earlier this morning at a press conference, and we do have that here for you on Live Now from Fox. Let's play it out.
Sampson did it.
This morning, we had a tragic incident where at least 4 victims senselessly lost their lives and 11 others were injured as a result of a careless, reckless driver.
Oh my
As you
God.
would imagine, this is a complex investigation involving multiple agencies, and I will provide preliminary information about what we know right now. This morning, just around 12:30, our air service was in the area of Hanna in Nebraska, and they saw
12:30,
2
that's
vehicles
early.
that appeared to be racing going westbound on Hillsborough Avenue towards the interstate. They see 1 vehicle go on the interstate southbound on 275. The other
Okay.
vehicle breaks off. Our air service goes over the radio and asks if any units are in the area. They're following the vehicle, our air service going south on 275. This vehicle exits in the downtown area. And at that point, our partners, FHP, and one of our units sees this vehicle in the area of Nebraska and Palm. At that point, 2 FHP units attempt a traffic stop on it, and the vehicle flees, and then they attempt a pit maneuver. After that, unfortunately, this vehicle went at a high rate of speed down 7th Avenue, and tragically, just west of 15th Street, or just east of 15th Street, hit over a dozen people. And
Oh
at
my
that
God.
location, we had 4 that were deceased and 11 others that were injured. And what I can tell you is all the victims were over 20.
Wow.
They were all adults.
Wow.
And we had 4 that were here that tragically lost their lives. They were
Wow.
out in Ybor having a good time, expecting to go home
That's
safely.
crazy. I've been there
careless,
many
reckless
times.
driver takes everybody's lives in his hands and just ended this night in a situation that's never going to be the same for these individuals.
Nope.
You know, at this time, I'd like to have Sergeant Gaskins from Florida Highway Patrol talk a little bit more about what FHP did.
Thank you.
That's
Good
tragic,
morning.
man.
Again, responding to a request for assistance from our partners with the Tampa Police Department, FHP troopers engaged this driver, a 22-year-old Dade City man. They attempted an unsuccessful pit maneuver. As the vehicle continued into the
Dade
Ybor
City is
area,
between
troopers
Tampa and
backed off.
Orlando.
They disengaged, backed off. And shortly thereafter, we had the crash that you see behind us here. 3 people deceased on the scene, 1 person deceased at the hospital. Florida Highway Patrol is leading with charges of vehicular homicide at this point, with additional felony charges to follow. Our advanced traffic homicide teams, they're doing the investigation. It's going to take a while for them to get all the facts and everything together. But again, the charges, the gentleman that is involved with this is in custody, and we're working with our partners to open up the Ybor City area as soon as possible. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank the Florida Highway Patrol and the State Attorney's Office and also
That's crazy.
Tampa Fire Rescue for assisting us in the investigation. And our officers were on the scene immediately and provided first aid.
Yeah, they're in the
Again, this
neighborhood.
is very tragic, and I
It's a Friday
feel
night
for
Ybor
the
City.
families and all of those impacted. Any questions?
Is he actively being chased when he right here?
No, as the sergeant said, they had disengaged.
No, I think he answered.
All right. Thank you.
Wow, that's so sad, because these individuals, they were just out to have a good time. And like I said, I've been to Ybor City many times. I've gone plastered in Ybor City. Oh my God. I remember when I went to see Cheech and Chong at the Improv in Ybor City, which not too far from where this accident happened, by the way. I was so drunk. And this person came up. He was like, "Hey, you want to watch a cool show?" I was like, "What? I don't want nothing. What are you offering?" He's like, "No, we're trying to get people to come and watch a show here. It's a comedy show. Would you be interested in?" I go, "Yeah, it depends who's performing. Who's performing?" He's like, "Cheech and Chong. You know who's Cheech and Chong?" I go, "I grew up watching Cheech and Chong. Are you fucking kidding me? Cheech is here or Chong?" He's like, "No, it's Chong. Cheech is not here, but Chong is here." I was like, "I'll watch it. I'll go." And he gave us these tickets, right? So we went to. It was me and a couple of friends, and we went to the booth over at the Improv, and we gave the tickets, and we got our we paid like $20 to get in, and man, we got really good seats too. And I had such a great time because it was Chong and his wife, and they were both so funny. Oh my God. I had a great time. I even interacted. He was like, "Hey, so what do you do for work?" I go, "I'm a plant operation manager." He goes, "Pot?" I was like, I said plant, but pretty close because I smoke every day at work. So, especially on that damn roof, many times. But I had such a great time with on that show, and the memories lives forever. I ended up getting a nice shirt, a Cheech and Chong, a Chong shirt, and he signed it for me and everything. I have that shirt somewhere. It got stained, and I got really mad, but it's somewhere. I have that shirt put away, and it was a cool shirt, but it kind of got a little stain. I just got to get it cleaned, but I don't want the signature to mess up on the shirt. But I many times went to so many clubs there in Ybor City. And the fact that someone just came in hauling ass and just crashed and killed 4 individuals and others are still injured or in the hospital is sickening, man. For what? On a Friday night, racing and then killing people? this whoever this individual is, which he's a kid. He's like not even a kid, but he's like 20 something, 22, 23. To me, he's a kid. It's very senseless, man. It's stupid. People make stupid mistakes all the time, and now they're gonna live with their consequences. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on to the next.
Last night, if you were watching live now, you were hearing the breaking news that the Supreme Court late last night did grant the Trump administration's emergency appeal to temporarily block a court order to fully fund SNAP food aid payments amid the government shutdown. This came even though residents in some states had already received the funds. This is adding another layer of uncertainty to an already complicated situation surrounding food assistance for Americans. Will Weiser is standing by. He covers the White House for the Associated Press. Will, feeding people, just in general, feeding people seems like it would be a popular political decision. So why is the White House fighting to not fully fund SNAP? Is there nowhere else to get the money from?
Well, that's sort of the crux of it. I don't think anybody, either side, is opposing giving food aid. This is a program that helps about 1 in 8 Americans, right? So it's a big program. It's important to a lot of people. What the administration is saying essentially is that they can only fund it to a certain point, and they can only use money that's basically in contingency funds in other parts of the government because of the government shutdown. That they can't seek any new funds, and they can't sort of move money around to after a certain point. The thinking there, of course, is to sort of put pressure on Democrats and on Congress to try and reopen the government. That's part of the reason why you're seeing some of the flight delays you were talking about at airports as well. But when it comes to SNAP, it's not sort of opposing the idea of food aid. It's more about what sort of government levers can they pull during the shutdown and how far they're willing to go. And, as you noted, the decision last night doesn't mean the case is over. It's basically just going to give the full Supreme Court time to review the case, and they could still very well order the full payments to be made and the money to sort of be found. But for now, this is where we are, and it's another sort of pressure point.
President Trump has been urging Republican senators to terminate the filibuster. Why is this such a pressing issue for him? And where does this fit in, if at all, to the ongoing shutdown fight?
Well, I think it fits in a lot. He's been talking about, as you mentioned, for several days. It's really a non-starter. The Republican leadership has sort of said, we're not going to do this. We need this 60-vote threshold because if the Democrats ever got back in, they would pass immediately legislation making, Washington, D.C. a state and get 2 more senators that would, very likely be Democratic. They would do all sorts of things that the Republicans don't want. But President Trump calls it the nuclear option. He says that if, they threaten to change the rules, or if they did change the rules, they could immediately reopen the government. They could, use the Republican control of both houses of Congress and the White House to pass a lot of his, top, sort of his administration's top goals and top legislative packages, and do it very quickly. And, he also sort of said if the Democrats want to do things like make Washington, D.C. a state, we should just do it ourselves so that they can't sort of beat us to the punch. But that's not really, the more he talks about it, the sort of more dug in, leadership gets and sort of says that, look, that the votes aren't there, right? I mean, you need a certain amount of votes to sort of make this happen. And it doesn't have a lot of support on the Republican side or, on the Democrat side, really enough to sort of make it happen. So today was very interesting. He talked about another sort of option that might break the shutdown standoff about taking what are subsidies, federal subsidies to recipients of healthcare under Obamacare, under the ACA, and giving them directly to Americans, to insurance holders, rather than the companies that sort of provide the health insurance. That actually does have some support. There have been some Republican senators who have already come out and said, hey, let's try this.
The stitches tomorrow?
About this.
Oh, good.
But again, that's another
okay.
sort of non-starter as it is. I think we're really seeing the president sort of talk about
that's painful.
Different things, sort of outside the box ideas to try and sort of break the logjam and get the government back open. But they are outside the box, ideas for a reason, because they're not likely to pass no matter what he says.
Is there any distance between how Trump would like to see this shutdown end and how GOP leaders in Congress would like to see this thing end?
It's a good question. I think that basically the White House's position has been from the start, they feel like this was a government shutdown created by the Democrat, that they basically voted to shut down the government. and that they don't feel any sort of need to negotiate and help the Democrats sort of fix a problem that they've created. That's what the senior administration officials have said sort of from the beginning. That's what the president has said. The problem is, of course, that Democrats now feel emboldened because they had big wins on Tuesday in the governor's race in Virginia and in New Jersey. And they really feel like this is a point where they've been able to sort of press their agenda and sort of stand up to the White House and to President Trump. And so they don't really feel a lot of political pressure anyway to end the shutdown because they feel like they're winning, and that they're making their point. The real sort of interesting thing will be to see what happens. You mentioned flight delays and sort of chaos at airports. On Thanksgiving week, that's amazing to really sort of scary to even think about, right? With the SNAP program, there are other things. Not paying troops. Lots and lots of federal workers not getting paid or being furloughed and not going to work even at the White House. Those are all things that probably can't go on forever. But I don't think you're going to see either the Democrats sort of anxiously coming to the table to make concessions, and the White House from the very beginning sort of said they don't want to do that either.
Let's talk about healthcare. Healthcare is at the crux of the shutdown. Let's rewind, if we can, back to the beginning of October. That's when the shutdown began, October 1st. The bill that cleared the House and eventually failed in the Senate, it came after Democrats demanded extensions for healthcare subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. That's obviously something that the GOP did not want to play ball with, Will. Why is it that here we are, nearly a month later, and neither side has been able to find common ground on this issue?
Well, again, I think the Democrats feel like they've got a salient issue here. They say that people are going to see their premiums go up, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month. And they really feel like that's a sort of a kitchen table issue that's really important to people. And they would like to see a negotiation to sort of set in stone progress on this issue before they go and vote to reopen the government, because they feel like that's the only leverage that they have. Again, the results on Tuesday sort of emboldened them to feel like they're in a strong political position here. The position of the White House and of congressional Republicans, all top Republicans, essentially is, reopen the government and then we can talk about legislation, right? There's just no way to sort of hold everything hostage and try to get what you want when you don't have the votes. But the Democrats say immediately, like, as soon as we do that, then renege and we'll see these subsidies go away and people are going to suffer. So that's sort of the impasse that we're at. And, we're in day 40, right? And the Senate is in session this weekend. There was some hope that there might be some movement. They're still talking. And, eventually when a deal comes together, it can move very quickly. We might see an end right away. But it doesn't appear that we're anywhere closer, tonight than we were this week or when this started, really. The issues remain the same.
Will Weiser covers the White House for the AP. Good to see you. Thanks.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. The time in the nation's capital, 6:10. It is time for us to hit a quick break. We're going to be speaking with Reuters when we come back. We're going to be discussing the airport situation as the nation faces more and more headaches relating to flight reductions, flight cancellations.
It is a headache. Let's keep it moving. Let's go ahead and put the sound on this one.
New York City, that is where our next story takes us, as the new mayor-elect of New York City, Zoran Mamdani, spent the days after his election in Puerto Rico attending a conference. Now, the self-described Democrat socialist was elected by a huge margin this week to lead the country's largest city. Here's what he told reporters from Puerto Rico.
I'm so happy to be
Why is he in Puerto Rico?
That question was asked of me of where I would go.
Wait a minute.
And I'm happy to be here at Somos. I'm happy to be here because there is, you cannot tell the story of New York City without telling the story of Puerto Rico.
This guy's a fucking clown, man.
Just going to that parade in Puerto Rico no se vende, the chance.
This guy's a bullshitter.
Connections of so many of a life of decency.
What a fucking fake.
It's been a joy to be here. I'm proud to report that in the few hours I've been here, I've already had some mofongo.
Stupid. He's oh my god, I can't. I'm Puerto Rican, and I'll tell you right now.
Right now, once again, taking a lot.
This guy's a fucking
like, as Republican.
He's a snake oil man. He's just a snake man. He's very sneaky. That's all he is.
The flow of federal taxpayer dollars to New York City.
You blow up your ass, and he'll say it's a good thing.
Bill is called the Moving American Money Distant from Anti-National Interest Act, or the Mamdani Act for short. The congressman joining us now live to discuss all of this. Congressman, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Yeah, that's
Well,
going to
thank you
be
for having me.
painful.
Of
Ugh.
course. And first off, can you kind of go back to basics and explain exactly what the Mamdani Act really does?
Well, first of all, I'm from Georgia. For 12 years in a row, we've been the #1 state in which to do business. We believe in capitalism here, and we certainly do not believe in communism, and we do not want our hard-earned money going toward those kind of policies. And that's what he has pledged to bring to New York City. So representing the taxpayers of Georgia, we don't want that. And that's not something that should be taking place in our country. Look, this is very serious. This is a very serious situation here. We could see a shift, and that's not something we need to see here in America. And what we're doing is we're going to limit the number of funds, with the exception, of course, of those that are required: Social Security, Medicaid, veterans benefits, and that type of thing, and mandatory spending. But everything else is on the table.
And how do you envision the bill's implementation working when you talk about in practice? How would all of that work?
Well, what you've seen as a result of the Biden-Harris administration and what they did with the Green New policies and all, and how the president and we in Congress have reversed a lot of those, we can do the same thing. And we can do the same thing in New York City if this comes about. And if indeed they start implementing these socialist policies. If you see free grocery stores and that type of thing, that's not capitalism. That's not part of America. And that's what we're trying to prevent here. Look, we can't allow this to happen in our country. This is very, very serious.
Do you
I'm surprised they're letting it happen.
Act here actually passing? Do
We're
you
letting
think that it
outsiders
does
run our
have a
country.
future? Do you have the support of your fellow lawmakers?
Well, I think if they look at it and they consider what is going on, then yes, I think it will have the opportunity to pass. I've had a real good response from members of our delegation, or I should say of our conference, who have responded to me and said, yes, they like this and they agree with this. Look, I think that Republicans, as well as some common sense Democrats, will agree that we do not need communism here in America, and that this is going to lead to communism. So that's why, yes, I do believe it does have a future.
On the kind of other side of that, what would you say to people who maybe do oppose this legislation?
Well, I would say just look at it and consider it. And the reason why, consider what the consequences would be if he is indeed successful. And what would happen in New York City? I mean, it would bankrupt New York City. Communism is nothing more than the mutually shared poverty. And that's what it would bring to New York City. New York City is a great city, and we can ill afford to lose it in our country. That's why we need to take action. You know, if Republicans learned anything this past week on Tuesday night, it was that we need to be on the offensive, not on the defensive.
As you kind of look at this as you kind of watch it play out here, have you spoken with President Trump about it?
I have not had the opportunity to speak to him about it, but we know what President Trump has said about this situation. We know that he has said that communism is only going to make New York City worse. We know that he has said that he doesn't want to throw good money after bad money. So I know the president would be looking at this favorably as well.
What are your overall thoughts, your reaction when you saw the results come in on Tuesday night, everyone kind of watching to see what happens, because Zoran Mamdani had been leading in the polls significantly, but it did appear that maybe Cuomo was gaining on him a little bit. But to see Zoran Mamdani win by that huge margin, what was going through your mind at that point?
Well, I thought it was disgusting. I mean, I can't, and I still find, even today, now, that I'm in disbelief that this has happened, that he has been elected mayor of the largest city in America. And, you know, he is an anti-Semitic socialist Islamist. I mean, he is one, and you know, the city with probably the highest population of Jewish people in America, and yet he's anti-Semitic. He's one who would not go back on saying that from the river to the sea. He is one that called what Israel was trying to do in Gaza genocide when they were defending themselves after October the 7th. He does not believe in the Jewish state. he is anti-Semitic, and to have this in the largest Jewish population city in America, I think is disgusting. Not only that, on Tuesday night, but also I found what happened in Virginia with the Attorney General, who had called for his opponent and his opponent's children to be shot and killed. And he got elected. I thought that was disgusting as well. That's why I'm so worried about our country and where we're headed right now. That's why I truly do believe that Republicans need to go on the offensive now. We need to stay off of defense and go on offense.
My last question for you here. You talked, of course, about the AG race there in Virginia, also about Mamdani's election. When you look at that, does that signal anything to you about the future of the Democratic Party, but also the Republican Party? Does that tell you anything?
It tells me both. It tells me, first of all, that Mamdani is now the face of the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party has changed. It has now become a socialist party, and that is fearful in my mind. That should raise the fear in the ear of all Americans. It also tells me that the Republicans now have a greater responsibility. We have a responsibility to be on the offensive. We have a responsibility to make sure that we save this country, that we save it from communism, and that we make sure that capitalism does win out.
All right, Congressman Buddy Carter, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and to discuss this. Anything we missed? Anything you want to add here before I let you go?
God bless New York City. That's all.
God bless the USA, but you're going to need a lot more than God to help with this, because these anarchists, these communist individuals don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe in our God that we believe in. They believe in their own God. And it's not Jesus, it's Allah. It's their own. And I just think that it's not going to be good in the long run with these guys, because they're getting their way right now, and they're being elected as leaders to certain cities in our country. And it's not only the New York. Let's not get it twisted, because this is happening in Minnesota. This is happening in Michigan. This is happening in Indiana. This is happening like everywhere. It's not like, oh, it's just these big cities. No, they're trying to infiltrate. This is what you call an invasion. We need to get them out. And the fact that the Insurrection Act has still not been implemented yet is what's concerning me the most, because you're letting them win. You're letting them vote. You're not taking them out. You're not doing nothing about it. Like me, I would have implemented as soon as I came and became president the first day, I would have signed into law that the first thing is the Insurrection Act. I would have signed it in and gotten all these illegals out of here. And I tell you right now, the midterm tally as far as votes would have been looking a lot different than what we saw last, few days back. So 4 days back. So it just sucks that New York, I'm not going to be able to go for, New York City. I'm not going to New York City I don't have business there. What am I going to go see? Garbage? Like people hanging out, smoking weed, people drinking. It's dirty. It's not clean. It's not safe. Like, what could possibly want for me that I don't already know about New York? That it's like I don't need to go back there. I've been to Times Square's. Like Times Square, I've been there many times. I'm gonna go one more time this year because Mamdani takes over January 1st as mayor. I'm gonna try to go the first or second week of December. Right? I'm trying to go out there and show you guys the Christmas tree, probably go up one of these Rockefeller buildings and possibly go over to Times Square, and I'll show you guys, look, Times Square, look, these are they're getting ready for the New Year's because they're going to put the 2026, and all this bullshit. And I'll just show you guys. And then that's it. I'm done. I'm not going back to New York for the next 4 years. I don't need to. I don't want to. The next time I go back to New York, maybe in 2030. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I just hope that they do an election audit and they see that there's been a big time manipulation in votes, and how in the hell, out of all years, you have a record amount of people voting in New York City. Does that make any sense? I'm telling you, they need to investigate. They cannot let this slide. You cannot let this guy just came. All right, let him just take over. Let him take over power and let him do wherever he wants within the United States. No, that's how cancer begins. You ignore it and you let it come in, and the next thing you know, it spreads, and then it moves everywhere, and then it's too late and it's terminal. Like, be smart, be proactive. I think that's where Trump is lacking. And that's why I'm kind of like in the fence, because I'm like, man, I really like Trump, but I need Trump to be more aggressive and put his foot down. And that's it. Enough is enough. We can't have these clowns in our government. They are not from here. They weren't even born here. How the hell if someone that's not born here gets to come and dictate the American people? How do you dictate us? We were born motherfucking here. These people come and they're born in all over around the world, Somalia, all over in Africa, Uganda in Africa, all these countries. They just let their people come on in, and then they infiltrate, and then they become mayors. They become part of Congress. They be like, what is going on here? That's an invasion. If that's not an invasion, then come over here and teach me what the fuck is an invasion. Teach me. Because I'm watching it, and I've been watching it for already a decade or more. And the fact that America just let these people just come on in, not vetted, nothing. You know how many terrorists are here already? It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And they're waiting for that moment. And it's not going to be good. And a lot of people are going to die, man. That sucks. It just sucks because the innocent always, they always end up not making it. If you wanted things to get better all around, deport all the illegal immigrants. That's the only way. That's the only way prices will come down. Medical prices will come down. Drug medications will come down. Housing will come down. Food will come down. You want me to prove it to you? You want me to do a motherfucking graph and show you, like, illegals, how much they consume on a daily basis? Do I have to do a whole motherfucking graph and put it here? Because don't dare me, because I will do it. Just putting these people back in their countries will save America trillions upon trillions of dollars. Let that sink in your head. But the fact that, let's just play stupid. Just let them come in, let them do whatever they want on the taxpayer dime. Don't worry about it. Here's your pennies to the American and to the illegal immigrants. Here is your dollars. The fact that Americans only get pennies and the illegals get dollars, mind-blowing. All right, let's keep it going because it's only going to get me mad. This is Stephen Gardner. Stephen Garner. Let's check this one out here, and I gotta step up for a second, but here we go. Let's put the sound up.
incredible videos I've seen in a long time. It's from Alex Jones. He did an emergency broadcast, and he's asking people like me and you to share it because he wants this particular video to get back to President Trump. So I'm doing my part. Please,
I'm doing my part.
But he's going to walk through how Trump now needs to execute to destroy the legacy media.
Stephen Gardner.
How Trump needs to quit giving money and attention and views to these vampires that are literally trying to destroy him and his family and his reputation. I'm going to go ahead and let Alex speak, but I'm going to interrupt it and give you my thoughts with my new X hat from Elon Musk. I hope you enjoy because I found this to be extremely important, and I hope you will as well.
I don't have X.
All right. I
don't trust X.
Do a critique of Trump right now from a
I'm
place
very
of
limited.
love and a place of wanting to beat the globalists because they literally want to put me in prison and destroy the country and destroy your future and cut your sons and daughters' genitals up. So this is life and death, folks. And what Trump's doing to the globalists is night and day.
Broccoli stir fry.
Compared, to what was happening.
Good.
This is a godsend. It could be better, but don't let
That
me
shit
get first
sounds
of the mouth.
good. Kayla, you're so
Trump
lucky.
continues
If you're ever watching, you're lucky.
Care about corporate media to
That's
get mad
so
because
lucky.
CBS interviewed him and then cut it all up and refused to air large parts of it.
Communism.
He
I
gets
know.
mad at late night comics that
I
have
know.
almost
I
no
feel like
views.
we
Now he's
all need to
moved
be
on
taught history
to
again.
even later shows that have about
That's
300,000
what's happening.
viewers instead of 1 million. But he's 79, folks. And it's on record what he watches.
No.
MSNBC, CNN, Fox News.
23.
They have
Yeah.
a war room they built for him where they have a bunch of shows up. My show, Steve Bannon's. They tell me there's like 50 shows up for him, and they showed him how to control it. He comes in and sits, and they try to get him to understand podcasting, and this is what's big. And then remember, he had an interview with Elon Musk. It had 1 billion people tuned into it. Just the show itself, not to mention all the clips that went out. Do you want to do a show with 1 billion people that watch it, or do you want to do one with 1 million and then get upset? But he's 79. He has major blind spots. And so this is for Trump, and I'm going to get it to him. And this is for Barron, who I know already watches. And this is for Don. And this is for everybody.
Okay, this is really important. So he's saying, Trump, you're giving major attention to minor players, and you're giving minor attention to major players.
Oh, girl.
So President Trump goes on, does this incredible interview with 60 Minutes, and then they chop it up the way that they want to chop it up. And he gets really mad at them, and then the video ends up getting like 1 million views, right? Maybe 2-3 million views. He's like, why aren't you going on X? Why aren't you going on Elon Musk where you got 1 billion views and you set a record? Why aren't you going on Tucker Carlson? Why aren't you going on Alex Jones? Why aren't you going on Steve Bannon? You watch their shows. You literally won because you decided to go on podcasts like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan gets 15 times as many views as the biggest news channel out there. And then why are you sitting up at night giving
I know, the
energy and attention
17th
to Jimmy Kimmel,
on
Jimmy
Monday.
Fallon, Stephen Colbert,
There he told us.
others? They literally, like, my YouTube channel gets more views than they get. So stop giving them attention. Quit feeding the beast that then tries to chop it up and humiliate you. Okay, let's keep going because he gets even deeper into this.
That I'm about to do. Mr. President, you have won the information war against the globalist. The left has its back broken worldwide. Populists are being elected everywhere. It's why they've now mysteriously, killed 30 plus AFD members every time they're about to win an election. All they've got left now is killing us or censoring us. So you're riding a wave of populism. You've got great energy, great focus, great clarity, but you do not understand new media, and you don't understand the metrics that it's not just giving it a run for the money like he did Joe Rogan right before the election. And he goes, wow, these podcasts are really giving the corporate media or, really giving the mainstream media a run for their money. It was a quote like that. No, we're not giving them a run for their money. We're running circles around them. They've done the numbers. An average Joe Rogan podcast has 30 times a CNN show. That's an average one. This show today, this broadcast, will have more viewers than all CNN shows today combined. Their average show has 84,000 viewers total. 84,000 viewers an hour. I could get off the air today and shoot 5 videos on Rumble, 5 on X, and they'd have conservatively 10 million views tomorrow. And then it gets grabbed and put everywhere else on TikTok and YouTube. I can't even keep track of it. And I'm not number one, Trump. Elon Musk, when he does shows, is number one, dwarfing everything. Just like when you do something original yourself, it takes over everything. So you're number one with power of your own media power. Elon Musk is number 2. And quite frankly, the stuff he does is so big, if he did more media, he'd be bigger than you. I'm just telling you. Just giving the facts. Just reporting to you. And then it's Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, and then from there. Okay? And Rumble's done the numbers, and YouTube's done it, and they've got big, you can pull up mainstream news admitting this even, okay? I mean, I remember they flipped out back when CNN had a bigger audience, and they had all those headlines 6, 7 years ago, and it goes, Alex Jones has 12 times the viewers of CNN total. They're like, oh my God, get him off the air. Well, good luck, you got bigger problems now. I'm like a 200-foot tall Godzilla, and they were shooting everything they had at me. And then now, oh, Elon Musk is 5,000 feet tall. Trump's 10,000 feet tall. You are literally like a lion bowing down to a mouse. You are like an elephant bowing down to a mouse.
All right, let me know what you guys think about this. This is so true. Like, I would love to have Donald Trump on my show. It would probably get millions of views. He needs to be going on.
Shit, he needs to come over here.
He needs to be going on.
Give me some of that
Alex
views.
Jones, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson.
The little
Stop
ones.
giving any attention to CNN.
I got 3
ABC,
people watching.
Maybe
if I had
even
Trump
Fox
on here,
News.
yeah, imagine how big that
This is
would be.
the new media. So you starve them.
First of all, y'all
and
will
you
all
don't
go to the
give them the
bathroom at the same
fodder
time and take a
or
shit.
the
I will
ammunition
join y'all
to
too.
go
I'll go in the
after you
bathroom,
by doing
do the
interviews.
show from the bathroom. Say,
And then
Mr.
you
President,
come
I'm
over
sorry, I gotta
here
take a shit.
and you get 10, 20 times the views. You are a behemoth. If you started doing the new media, you would be able to help people understand why you're fighting the Democrats, why you're trying to get the military paid, why you're going after Venezuela. Don't do these little sound bites that CNN gets to control.
I hope
that
people
MSNBC
watch this,
gets
man.
to control.
That's why I put
Start
it for you guys to
behaving
watch.
like the lion and the elephant that you are. You are the biggest thing right now. I really hope that Trump sees this and hears this and digests it, because it's
when you go on a
massive.
CBS or ABC, the clips go everywhere, and it's a big interview. You make them big. They need you. And Trump is smart enough to kick the corporate whore media, most of them, out of the White House and bring in real media. So he's doing a lot of good stuff. And so I'm not just trying to criticize. It's just that I see so much as he got better about this in the first 6 months of his administration, not being baited in by corporate media with their lies. Don't worry, we're your surrogates. We'll deal with that. You're the leader. You need to be focused on the big strokes, the big issues, which I know you mainly are. I'm just critiquing to make it better. And I'll show you examples of this in a moment, of where Trump is spending his time on Lilliputians that have less than 500,000 viewers. What in the world are you doing? So first, I want to give some good news about Trump, because this is totally true. Patrick Bet-David on Fox. Trump's been vindicated already, and history books will favor him. In 10, 20, 30 years, when you're sitting in a movie theater and watching Netflix, there will be a movie about Donald Trump. Kids will grow up saying, I'm going to be like Donald Trump. Obama, this is the worst way to end your legacy. You had 2 terms and were supposed to be the Black Jesus, and now everyone has turned on you. Well, he really had 3 terms, the unelected term of Biden. Exactly. They're beaten. They're over. They're a joke. They wanted to be Hollywood. They think it's all cool. They think having Hollywood parties is cool. Hollywood hadn't been cool for 20, 30 years. Now it's super uncool. It's a joke. So Obama, out at his Martha's Vineyard thing, has all these Hollywood people there, and it's ridiculous.
All right, think about this. The Democrats go on the media every single day saying that Trump is a king, Trump is a tyrant, and then he tweets about it or talks about it and gives them all these views and all of this energy and attention instead of just ignoring it or going on Steve Bannon that has 40 million listeners, or going on Alex Jones and saying, listen, I want the American people to understand X, Y, Z. And then he has somebody that he can favorably walk through what he's trying to do so that we understand it. Otherwise, the rest of us are just guessing. You don't need to defend yourself. You've got hundreds of guys like me and Alex Jones. We will defend you. And we can articulate what you're trying to do.
And Terry.
So stop it. Stop
and Tyson
giving them
Cruz.
attention and go out and dominate. I love this advice that Alex Jones is giving President Trump.
No one's impressed. No one cares. In fact, it's disgusting. People want mavericks. They want change. They want heroes. They want action. They want vision. They want peace. They want prosperity. George Clooney. Oh, George Clooney's with Obama. Ooh, Stephen Colbert. Ooh. And now Trump's moved on to criticizing the later night host that are even bigger jokes. So if Scarborough has no viewers, why are you talking about him?
No.
Because he's got people in there like Todd Blanche, who's a dyed-in-the-wool hardcore Democrat, who's his deputy AG, that says, oh, we're not going to help Alex Jones being persecuted by the DOJ previously because he's fringe. Nobody, you and the establishment are the fringe, and you're being removed. So you can be inserted in there and try to have the establishment hold on, but Todd Blanche is just the fingernails of the establishment holding on to the edge as they prepare to fall politically into total oblivion. That's it. Todd Blanche is like the bullrog's whip when he's already falling off the abyss.
No, Tyson,
grab
he has some
Gandalf by the
classes he's
leg
going.
and sucking down with him. That's all any
And
of
also,
this is. The
no-
Cloward and Piven, the crash the economy.
Yeah, he won't
the
be here
Podesta
this
plan,
Thursday, though.
The wars, the
Just,
attempt to crash
breaking
the
news.
stock market. It's all drag us down with them. So what Patrick Bet-David is saying is totally true. I made this point many times myself. You have won. Now promote the ideology of liberty and freedom and stop turning these globalists that have all been pro-censorship into victims by saying, I don't know if that late night host is allowed to say that about me. That might be illegal according to FCC rules. Yeah, and it's true. Back in the old days, they were all quiet about it, but they told corporate media what to do. You never got control of corporate media. You don't want to tell them what to do. You don't want to be the ESGs and the Democrats and BlackRock telling them to take a knee at the national anthem. You would tell people, don't take a knee. We don't need to do all that. We have all the soft power. Don't make these tyrants into victims. They are propped up facades. Realize you've won as long as you can stop them sabotaging and starting a civil war and stop giving them attention. Go after the Democrat leaders for the shutdown. Expose them. Expose the private Federal Reserve, which you've been doing. Great job. You're doing such a wonderful job on so many fronts. I'm just saying, giving legacy media attention and acting like they are important is breathing life into a dead carcass. You're trying to raise them from the dead, which is impossible, but it still lets them suck oxygen out of the room and insert themselves in the debate when they don't matter. Here's Patrick Bet-David.
You know, the trust in the media right now is at an all-time low. I mean, no one trusts the press. Do you think it would help them if they would give a little and say, yay, cleaned up D.C., looks great. The homeless are gone, the streets are cleaner, there's less crime. Is it their inability to just give a little bit is what makes everybody just not buy this garbage?
They have a hard time with that. But the reality of it is this guy's going to keep winning over and over and over again, and it's going to upset them even more.
You got enemies that are wanting to do business with him. You got him flying, working harder than anybody else. I keep saying this. I dare anybody right now measure how hard they're working. And this man is 79 years old, about to be 80 years old next year in 2026. They're envious. They're jealous. It's already been proven. He's been vindicated. History books are going to favor this guy. One day in the next 10, 20, 30 years, we're going to be sitting in a movie theater watching a movie of his or a show on Netflix that's going to come out in 10 series. The amount of stories they're going to show of what this man was able to do. Many kids are going to grow up saying, I want to grow up to be like Donald Trump. Obama, this is the worst way to finish up your legacy. You came off your 2 terms. You were supposed to be Black Jesus. Everyone's turned against you. You guys had to pay people like Beyonce and all these other guys to come perform for you. Trump is going after protecting folks in Nigeria. Nicki Minaj is coming saying thank you to President Trump. Trump didn't pay Nicki Minaj for a thank you. They have a hard time winning their own people over. Trump is winning their people over, and this is driving them insane.
That's right. And Big Mike just came out again. He does this all the time. Michelle Obama, arms like a linebacker, arms like pythons, and maybe one of the pants, and said 2 days ago, we have the clip. You want to see it? You want to hear it? We didn't get respect because we're Black. The majority of white people voted for you, jerk, hoping you would bring unity because you promised, and then you did the opposite, and you got caught doing it because that's what the globalists want. And we got the WikiLeaks emails with Obama and Hillary. Oh, let's create racial division. That'll control people. You did it. You've been caught. You're bad. Trump's creating unity. So then we have stuff like this. CBS News heavily edits Trump's 60 Minutes interview, cutting network paid me a lot of money, cutting the Post. And then Trump's all pissed that they cut it. Who cares? Why did you do an interview with him? And it was like he was all mad that they waited a week and he wanted to see it and stuff like this. Why the hell did J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk hug like this? And she hugs him, he puts his hands around her, and it's totally normal, and they've been good friends for a long time. Oh, look, there's something going on here. You know, we can have convicted pedophiles come teach drag queen story time to your kid at school and not tell you, but J.D. Vance hugs a woman around the waist, and he's a pervert. That's the left, folks. Don't even respond. Screw him. Mm-hmm. Trump labels Seth Meyers a deranged lunatic and blasts his late-night rhetoric as illegal. Seth Meyers doesn't have 300,000 viewers, Trump. Now, because you attacked him, it'll go up to 1 million for a while. He's a joke. So why give them statements like, oh, it's illegal? Maybe it's illegal to criticize me.
I really like
because they told him, well, sir, there is FCC regulations that if they're telling lies. It's all unenforceable. Don't do it. Stop it. The left had nothing on us censoring. Oh, you're getting rid of books and libraries. For 8-year-olds, you can't give them pro-pedophilia graphic novels? Yeah, just like you can't sell them Jack Daniels or cigarettes? Yeah, we're not censoring the book. You just don't get to put it in the library, you damn pedophiles. Trump says Seth Meyers' show sucks and is probably illegal. Who cares about Seth Meyers? Trump labels Seth Meyers a deranged lunatic.
Who cares about Seth Meyers?
I got these clips now. Talk about a show with no views. The clips haven't got a lot of views when he tells the truth. Joe Scarborough has this Democrat rep on who did lie and said, oh, Trump abused young girls, Jeffrey Epstein. That's not true. He's not in any of the criminal files. They've had the lead investigators go public. We've always known that. They've had all the women go public and say they never saw him at the island, and only 2 women saw him at Mar-a-Lago because they worked there and Epstein poached them out. And then Trump basically covers for the Democrats, and look what they did, which was wrong.
To be going to some
what he did was wrong, but he wasn't a part of it.
Or Epstein.
So since I mentioned it, here is Senator Joe Manchin saying, "Oh well, we're a Democrat state, but we vote for him because we like him." No, because he's the one person on the ballot, and so it's very hard when the majority vote for him and then vote across the ballot to cover up the manipulation. And that.
All right, Steve Bannon talks a lot about this. When you're at war, there's a lot of noise, and a good leader hears the signal, right? And what Alex Jones is saying, Trump, I love you. You have won. You literally have the largest, most loyal base of voters. Stop falling for these little tricks. Stop being baited into petty discussions. Keep the signal. The signal is close the border, make life affordable, bring down the price of food and gas, make housing affordable.
Yep.
Stay on task. Let them call you a king. Don't get involved. Don't keep giving your opinion about these petty little nighttime comedians that don't get any views compared to the big channels.
Yeah.
So put major attention on major things and quit giving minor things all of your attention. They feel abandoned by the people in Washington, D.C., who care more about illegal immigrants and those that don't work than those that do work and pay the taxes. And that's why the country is broken. But Trump is changing all that if he can stay focused. Now, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. I think that this is really important. Imagine if instead of doing 60 minutes and getting 2 million views, and then they just attack him over and over again, he does Elon Musk and gets 500 million views or 1 billion views. And he tells the world, and he tells America, and he tells MAGA exactly what he's doing for them on a daily basis. We see the work ethic. We appreciate it. I can't keep up with you. I tell my wife all the time, I'm in my 40s and this guy has more energy and gets more done in a day than I can. So we need you to be the leader. Ignore the noise. Follow the signal. Keep your campaign promises. All right.
Yeah.
I hope you guys found this
Stop being
valuable. If
distracted.
you did, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.
He's such a great guy. Great show too. I subscribe to him. Yeah, Stephen Gardner show. Great show. Like I said, I've been subscribed to him forever. But that message for Alex Jones and so forth, like I feel like this is the issue, right? I think this is what Mandani wants, right? For New York. He wants all the Republicans to leave. Right? He wants them all to flee. That's the point. He wants them to flee so he could bring in more of his people to dominate. Look at that. I'm not even making it big. It's just making it big. Okay, I guess I got to come up close when I say this. He wants more people of his people to come in. So that way it's more Democrats. So anytime they have an elections, they will always win. Because there's no Republicans because they left, right? I say no, don't fucking leave. Stick it out. Vote. You know, when it's time to vote, go to your midterms and vote. And it does make a difference. It does count. And it does have like consequences to your vote. Mandani is going to be mayor of New York, and the only thing I could do is wish him good luck, but I'm not going to New York City at all. I just don't have anything there. But my thing is like you got to stop you got to stop at the source. You know, you can't just sit around and threaten and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna use the Insurrection Act," and 3 months later, no Insurrection Act, no nothing. Like Mandani should not even be mayor of freaking New York City. I don't understand how people that are not born in this country, people that are Americans should be Americans first, right? America first, Americans first. Well, how come in these elections they have all these Somalians and all these like people from all around the world participating in American government and winning because their people are going and voting multiple times? It's already been proven. Like, how much more proof do you want? But how come we're so slow to do anything about it? How come there's no consequences? How come there's no accountability? How come nobody does anything? Like nothing gets done. Everything is just like, Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. No, it's not okay. Like nobody speaks up, man, and you let shit like this stupid election and Mandani winning it, and now they gonna like all the Republicans are gonna flee. We're gonna flee. 30% of us are gonna leave. Does that make any sense? You're gonna flood other states that their prices are gonna end up going up. Like the food is gonna end up going up. The taxes are gonna end up like it's just not helpful for you to leave to another state. How about reinforce the state and reinforce the city and come into the city and bring in more Republicans into the city? Because this is a proof, like it's the proof that the Republicans is very like weak in New York City. I'm sorry, we had the cat lady guy go out there with his 18 pussies. Like it wasn't gonna work. He listen. He's. I'm not even gonna talk about his 18 pussies. Okay, just not gonna do it. I love cats. I agree with him. I'm just very disappointed in him. And the Republicans just for letting like not care and just put Catman lady out there. Like, and New York is a big hub. It's the financial district of the world. It's like Wall Street is fucking New York City. And now you have this socialist communistic mindset doesn't recommend like what went on in the Palestinian state, with Hamas. He can't condemn Hamas. He can't tell them, oh, he doesn't go after them. He doesn't. He's like, no, it's okay. But let's talking about look at the sky and smile. That's all he's a showman. He's just an Obama, like he gives me some Obama vibes. That's all Mandani is giving me is the Obama playbook. And they trained this guy. He came out of nowhere. They got to him and they taught him how to speak. They taught him how to think. They taught him this is Soros money at its perfection. And the same shit they did with Obama, they're trying to do with Zohan Mandani. Prove me wrong. I'm a very good psychic. It don't take me long to find the bullshit. I just started doing the news because, there's not that many people here. So it's like I integrate the news and then give my psychic thoughts and give my thoughts and what I see and what my mind is astral projecting to. And yeah, there's a lot of crookedness going on in New York City. That's for damn sure. A lot of crookedness. And the fact that Zohan Madani was in Puerto Rico today, and the fact that he was sucking up to the Puerto Rican people and then saying, oh yeah, I had a mofongo. Are you motherfucking kidding me? That's what New York fucking elected? This guy, he's a Broadway child. All he's doing is performing. That guy is not legit. I can smell that motherfucker from a mile away. And he's a dirty ass Nickman oil man. Trained by the Soros. Fooled all Americans. And fooled the kids. Because I blame the young, dumb, full of cum kids in New York City. That's who I blame. They went in by numbers. These schools, you didn't see all the protests they were doing in front of the universities and all the campouts and all the disruption and really like attacking the Israel, the the Israeli kids that were going to, Yale. No, not well, Yale too. It happened here too in Connecticut, but all the prestige schools out there, Harvard and and other the New York college that they have there. What's the name of it? But a lot of universities, right? They had all these protesters and all these like Palestinians, and they had their big ass Palestinian flags, and they were harassing the Israeli kids that were going to the schools and so forth. And of course, they gonna get away from there and not go back, and that's their game. Their game is to intimidate and try to conquer by numbers and get the young, dumb, full of cum ones, because those are the young, dumb brains. They're not gonna go after the old ones, because the old ones, a lot of them, they do go with Madani and stuff like that, because they don't think for themselves. They always have been taught, stay with blue, vote blue all the time. Don't change colors. Stay with the color that you love the most, blue. Fuck blue. I hate blue. I don't like blue. I'm red. I love red. It's my favorite color. I like pink. I do like pink. I wear pink today. I don't know. Try to be soft today and not to be too mad, but I get mad. I gotta roll me another joint. That's what I need to do. And then you guys can watch another episode. But I'm just thinking, because I know their game. Because Madani is not scared that the people are leaving. He wants them to leave. He wants them to leave. And he's going to bring in his people. Okay? And yeah, we're going to make the rent cheaper because they're going to be more space. And since there's more space, then they're going to kind of fix the rents and so forth. And it's just it's not good for ownership. If you are an owner in New York City, these are the ones that want to leave, because they're gonna get screwed over for the next 4 years. They just are. And I really, really hope that the people reconsider leaving and stick it out. But we need to bring more Republicans into New York City. And not only that, we need to audit the elections, audit to see who truly voted. I think in the future, and this is going out to Trump and to the administration, if they ever listen to this, which I highly doubt they do, I would go with face recognition for elections to prove your identity. I wouldn't go with the ID, since we're going into the future and we want to be 2030. Let's go with face recognition. When you go into the elections, into the booth, it'll scan your face and it'll know it's Rick. And you vote and boop, send it off. But face recognition, because that's the only way you're going to stop illegals from voting. Guaranteed. I hope Elon's watching too. I only got 3 people watching, and it's neither of them. Trust me. I'm a very small YouTuber. Very small. I have the same amount of energy as Tyson, but Tyson has the views and the credibility there. And he's great. I love Tyson. And I encourage him all the time to keep doing what he's doing and to stay focused. And, if I see anything or feel anything, I just let him know. He's a good person. I see his numbers growing more and more and more. And I do see those big numbers. I could see him in the 200s by next year. It's just, he'll take off. You just got to keep doing what he's doing. But motherfucking Zohan was in Puerto Rico. He's in Puerto Rico now. He went from New York to Puerto Rico. What a fucking gaslighter, right? He went over there he spread his gas on the Puerto Rican people. Crazy. From what I understand, he was also a Bollywood star. Are you fucking kidding me, Terry? The whole plan is to make DC and Puerto Rico state 5152. Oh, God. Sounds stupid. DC is so little. How is it going to be a state? It's so little. It'd be the smallest state then. Rhode Island, that's it. You're not the smallest state anymore. The same thing they did to Pluto, we're going to do to you, Rhode Island. Crazy. Just crazy. You know, it just does not make sense, man. And it's the infiltration. I'm telling you, that's what they did. They left those borders open. They infiltrated inside the United States. They got their way. I would have never been sending these people in buses up to New York City or Chicago or any place. If I was Texas, I would have just left them all in fucking Texas, you know? But they were like, they trying to get rid of them, so they send them all up to New York. And we know there's hundreds, probably thousands of people, like hundreds of thousands of people in New York. Like, look how many people voted for Zohan. Over 1 million people voted for Zohan. Now, let's do the math. Let's go back in other elections, right? And see what was the winning numbers in all the other elections. Now, what we could do, since we know it's over 1 million people that voted for this dude, let's do a roll call and see if these people, who are these people that voted? Match their names with their address, confirm that is who they are. I guarantee you, half of those people, half of the voters, over 1 million, voted more than once. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, vote blue no matter who or no matter what. It's stupid. Yeah, they're trying to go to Texas too. They want to go to Texas. You got all these it's just a mess. Let me tell you, Trump has to stop it. And the only way you can stop this cancer from spreading, and this is the only way we're going to be able to do this, the Insurrection Act. Why are you procrastinating on the Insurrection Act, like Donald Trump, President Trump? Why are you hesitating in getting this implemented already? Like, the Insurrection Act will get rid of all of these illegals in our country. It will, Zohan will be re-questioned again because he's not an American. Yeah, he has probably a green card, but he's not an American. So, I'm saying Americans should be the only ones in elections, not people that are from other countries that are holding a green card. I don't think so. That's not what our founding fathers wanted. This is an invasion. This is a straight invasion. It's the definition of invasion. Is what's happening. And now we got an Islamic leader and the mayor of New York City, and he's in Puerto Rico right now. Oh, I had mofongo. You sound like a fucking idiot. I wish I was in front of his face and just tell him. I'm not scared of his punk ass. He's just a kid, man. To me, he has kid energy. And I can call bullshit from a mile away, and that guy stinks. Stinks. All right. Let's keep it. Let's see what else we got here. What is this? Oh, a gunman opened fire on patrol agent in Chicago. Oh, Lord. Let's see what this is about. I had to vent a little bit because it is my show and I can do what I want. But we're going to go ahead and watch what happened in Chicago. I need to roll me another joint. Are they calling themselves shame? 'Cause that's what I see. I just see cops standing around. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, seriously. Like, who encourages these people to act like this? I would arrest all of them. Arrest them all. Look, they're overpowering the cops. Look. Like, all these people should be, like, put in some kind of, like, prison. Like, where is these people? What's their reason? Who paid these people to do this? You know, these people should be arrested. Yeah, the Somali kid, I'm glad he fucking lost, that motherfucker. He looked like Obama, like, had a son, and it came out an alien looking. Like, he would have made a great role in. See, look at this. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's just fucking crazy. Like, I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is this? Oh, you know, we're gonna have to watch this. Horrifying video shows python drag tour guide underwater as it tightens its grip around his neck. What? We're gonna have to watch this.
Look. Wait. One, two, three, 4. Nah. Okay. The like, man. Oh,
oh shit, look. Oh my god. Yo, can we just shoot the fucking snake?
Wakanda forever.
Hell no, that shit give me anxiety. Fuck that.
Oh man. Okay. It's okay. He's about to looking for his life. Hold on.
Can we just, like, what's going on here?
Oh man.
Matikan lampu semua dulu untuk melihat. Matikan lampu semua dulu untuk melihat.
Cari center dulu kah? Hah?
That gave me anxiety. Fuck that. I'm sorry for those who watched. That shit gave me fucking anxiety. Alright, let's go to another story. Oh my lord. This is gonna give me more anxiety. What the fuck, man? I'm sorry. I have these stories like lined up, and all right, let's watch.
UPS and FedEx said they are grounding their fleets of McDonnell Douglas MD-11 planes, quote, out of an abundance of caution following a deadly crash at the UPS Global Aviation Hub in Kentucky. The crash Tuesday at UPS Worldport in Louisville killed 14 people, including the 3 pilots on the MD-11 that was headed for Honolulu. MD-11 aircrafts make up about 9% of the UPS airline fleet and 4% of the FedEx fleet. FedEx said in an email that it will be grounding the aircrafts while it conducts, quote, a thorough safety review based on the recommendation of the manufacturer. Boeing, which merged with McDonnell Douglas in 1997, did not immediately respond to an email from the Associated Press asking the reasoning behind the recommendation. Western Global Airlines is the only other U.S. cargo airline that flies MD-11s. The airline has 16 MD-11s in its fleet, but 12 of them have already been put in storage. Boeing announced in 1998 that it would be phasing out its MD-11 jetliner production with final deliveries due in 2000. The UPS cargo plane, built in 1991, was nearly airborne Tuesday when a bell sounded in the cockpit. And for the next 25 seconds, the bell rang and the pilots tried to control the aircraft as it barely lifted off the runway. Its left wing on fire and missing an engine, and then hit the ground. National Transportation Safety Board member Todd Inman said yesterday the cockpit voice recorder captured the bell, which sounded about 37 seconds after the crew called for takeoff thrust. There are different types of alarms with varying meanings, he said, and investigators haven't determined why the bell rang, though they know the left wing was burning and the engine on that side had detached. Inman said it would be months before a transcript of the cockpit recording is made public as part of the investigation process. Footage from phones, cars, and security cameras has given investigators evidence of what happened from many different angles. Flight records suggest the UPS MD-11 that crashed underwent maintenance while it was on the ground in San Antonio for more than a month until mid-October, but it's not clear what work was done. The UPS package handling facility in Louisville is the company's largest. The hub employs more than 20,000 people in the region, handles 300 flights daily, and sorts more than 400,000 packages an hour. UPS Worldport operations resumed Wednesday night with its next day air or night sort operation.
Okay, well, I'm rolling up a joint here. Give me a second. Oh man, that's gonna be a headache for the holidays. I'm just letting you guys know right now. Because if they're UPS and FedEx is grounding their planes, that's a problem. That's a big problem. If you're sending out any packages for the holiday season, if you're sending to loved ones or anything, you may want to do that very early. You may want to do it as early as the first week of December. Just because I just feel like with everything that's going on in the government, if they don't open up this government, they really want to be like the Scrooges of 2025. You know? And that's how Democrats, that's how they have their control. Their control is closing the government if they don't get what they want. That's all they know how to do. And the only thing that does, have people suffer. Yeah. A lot of these people, they need these jobs, you know, to support themselves and their family. And they chose to work a government job, you know, and the benefits are great. But when you have shutdowns like this is the longest ever shutdown in American history. It makes you think twice, man. Like, damn, I don't know if it's even beneficial to work for the government. Like, I might as well go to private and just work a general job or do something outside of government. You know, it's like, and you try to do the right thing, you know, and get into the military, get into the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, whatever force, Space Force, all force, you know, because there's a lot of different forces. Man, without food, like without the food stamps and stuff, for some people, it would be very hard. Because there's a lot of handicaps and a lot of, and I think that's why I got mine, because I am disabled because of my spine and my neck. And that's why I got it quicker or something, like because I am in the system as disabled and they have all my paperwork and all my stuff. So I'm like declared like unable to work ever. So they probably gave it to me quick. But people need it, you know. They need these funds to help them out, you know, and give them the push, and then you know, help them to the finish line. But if you do get your food stamps, this is what I say: look, buy a big bag of rice, get beans, get like things that you can make for multiple days, and it will last. You know, just you got to be smarter, like with food rations during these times, because it's very unpredictable. And the thing is that I imagine if 3-Eye Atlas was to slow down and then start turning towards Earth, we will have our own Independence Day. Imagine that. And I hope it's Jesus, right? He comes out and it's like, it's Jesus. It's like, holy moly. Look at this. We're lucky to be alive to witness this. Everyone taking a shit at the same time, and all of them falling to their knees at the same time. They will all be in prayer at the same time. Crazy. But they're coming. They're coming. They're coming. I don't know if they're coming for you, but they're coming. All right, we're talking about a little science. Let's check this out here. Let's check out this next story.
Happening now, a rare celestial event, the Griffith Observatory providing this live image of a major lunar standstill, the moon rising to its most northern point possible. Flashback to June when the moon rose to its most southern point possible. Ancient sites like Stonehenge were said to align to these events, showing their historical importance. And Fox 11 meteorologist Harvey joins me now to talk more about this. Yeah. So let's talk about the significance of this and explain really what the standstill means.
Yeah, so pretty much what we're looking at is, first of all, I want to state that this is something that hasn't happened since 2006.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a while.
Yeah. Almost 20 years.
It's a while.
Yes.
And it does happen on a 18-and-a-half-year lunar cycle. So it is one of those once in a generation type of thing. So a huge deal for anyone that does love the moon or our major lunar standstill. And so pretty much what this is we have our moon at the most northerly
beaver
point
moon
on the horizon. And so again, we stated
beaver
how
moon.
often it happens. And here tonight we have it started at 6:44, so about 10 minutes ago, and it will appear until 7:19. So in order to view this with the best view, we want to make sure to be looking at our most northeast point, and you want to be looking at that north bearing. So the major in standstill is when the moon's rising or the setting are the wildest that they get in this very long cycle, that 18.5, 18.6 year lunar cycle. And again, it matters so much because it is a once in a generation, not a once in a lifetime, a once in a generation opportunity. And so over the next few weeks, you'll notice the moon may take different tracks. You'll notice that it may appear higher or lower. And also with the atmospheric shifting there, you'll be able to see that the moon will appear to change color. So we'll have it looking orange out there with these nice hues, and it'll be a beautiful thing.
And when we say that it aligns with Stonehenge, for instance, what do we mean by that?
So pretty much we have these cultural and archaeological and ancient significance like Stonehenge. And so what that means is that it is aligning with these lunar extremes. So for instance, people thousands of years ago appear to have paid attention to these lunar cycles. So we just had everything aligning with that.
All right, so we have good reason to look up tonight if you're able to get outside and look.
Yes, yes.
All right, very cool. Thank you for educating us.
Of course.
All right, so
It's very bright. I've been outside and I saw it yesterday. The moon was beautiful. I took pictures, actually. I took pictures. I could show it to you guys. I had to go up and show you guys. I take pictures all the time. I have over 15,000 pictures on my phone. Like, what the fuck? Like, yes, over 15,000. Here, I got it here. Let's go. Show you guys. Let me move this out the way. Okay. This is one of the shots that I took. And then that one. Phone's a little dirty. There you rub it. I gotta change the case, that's why. It's the case. There's a lot of scratches on it. So that's the one there, and then another one here. And I took these pictures with my phone. I got really good pictures with my phone, which I was very surprised and happy. Very surprised and happy. Yeah, maybe I could show it over here too. Let me see if it works. Give me one sec. Ha ha ha. Let's see. Yay! I didn't have to stand up. Oh, that's great. That's even better. So I just gotta center it. But look how beautiful the moon was. Beautiful. And this one, I took these pictures. And then this one, I took a real big one. Because I zoomed it in. The camera's trying to zoom in on it. Like that. Ain't that really cool? That's fucking cool. All right, let's see what else we got here. We still got a couple of more here to go. It's 9:30. It's early. It's Friday. Let's enjoy this day. It was a nice day today. I had a great day today. Actually, it's Saturday. I'm like thinking it's Friday. Wow, Rick. That's fucked up. I'm a day behind. I'm like, I need to get back to the future. What the fuck? All right. Let's go ahead and go on to the next story here. All right. Let's set this up.
That's sweet boy Braylon and his mom, Delicia, join me now. Hey there, Braylon. I loved your video, and I just want to know, what was life in Memphis like before the National Guard?
Well, it's been pretty dangerous. I couldn't really go outside or play.
Oh, poor
And
thing.
generally, whenever I turned on the news, there's been lots of reports of shootings in my area. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's very scary. I can't imagine what that's like. And Braylon, what's it like now that the National Guard's there?
well, it's been pretty peaceful now. I just kind of made it a thing for me to go outside and also practice my trumpet. And I
Aw.
feel like the crime rate has just slowed down a little bit more.
Oh,
The
man.
trumpet. Delicia, you have a seriously impressive son
Mhm.
playing the trumpet. That is amazing. Delicia,
That
what's it
is.
like from your perspective? I'm a mom, and I can't
I
imagine
can't play
if
no
my
fucking
little
trumpet.
kids couldn't go out and play.
You
I want
know,
to play the violin.
it's been truly a wonderful experience. It's been well over a month now. And like I said, it's been a thing for me and my children to go outside and play. I've had tea on my porch, which again wasn't something that I could do at first. And we're just grateful for that, just to be able, to have just that moment of peace. It's been great. And, just being able to do new things and, it's like I said, overall, it's just been a wonderful experience.
That's great. And Braylon, have you gotten to meet any of the National Guardsmen or women?
Well, I've actually met some at my school for career day.
Wow, were they nice?
Mm.
Yeah, they were nice. They told us everything that happens at the National Guard.
Okay. And I understand Team Trump has reposted your video. And, Delicia, I just want to know if you were ever invited to go to the White House. I mean, would you go to the White House with Braylon if that opportunity ever came?
Hell yeah.
We would absolutely love the opportunity.
Aw.
We would love that. He's been the most actionable president that we've had in our time. And just for, my son, because this was something that he chose to want to do and give his experience on, he would love that. We would love that, actually.
Braylon,
Yes.
what would you say to President Trump if you ever saw him?
Well, I just wanted to give my thanks to him for sending the National Guard here, because, as I stated before, I feel like the crime rate has really slowed down. So
Damn,
I
this
just wanted
kid
to
is
give
going to
my
be
thanks to
very good
him.
in the future.
Braylon, you are amazing. And Delicia, I hope one of my kids can play the trumpet one day. You're a great mom, and you guys are doing a lot of good. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. He's absolutely great, a super smart kid,
I can
and
tell.
he's an excellent trumpet, a great trumpet player. So yes, he's been able to
He's a
utilize
trumper.
his time now to become better, and he's doing that outside, and the neighbors are actually loving it. We just got a text the other day to tell them to keep going, so our neighbors are hearing
Aw.
it. It's just been a really happy community as of late. And we're
Delicia,
grateful.
you are a fantastic mother. I can sense that. And Braylon, you
Yeah,
are so
he
smart.
is.
Thank you both for being here. It's really an honor to have you.
Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Aw,
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
that
And
is
I'm
so
Ainsley
nice.
Earhart. And click
I
here to
needed a good
subscribe to the
story.
Fox News.
After all the shit I've been listening to tonight, that was a really good story. It made me feel good inside. I don't know. He's a trumper. I want to get me a small, like a violin, right? But I want to get I want to see if I can find it. I want to get like the smallest violin that's playable, and just play it when these politicians like Kamala Harris or like Nancy Pelosi starts talking, or like Hakeem Jeffrey starts talking, and all these stupid like Zohan Mandani starts talking and start playing the violin. You know, Nancy Pelosi knows what the violin is because she had it in her fucking video, and she tried to make it like an upbeat, like she did so good for the country. She was so great. Oh my god, she was one of a kind. We were so lucky to have her. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I can't wait till they get her. She's 85. She could go to Alcatraz. Like, we could put her ass in Alcatraz. Put her there for like 5 years. And she was doing some insider trading during this shutdown. She was doing some crazy little insider trading during these crazy times. But the media won't want to report that. Nope. It's wild. Okay, let's go ahead and see what else we got here to watch. Oh no, this is about the traveling. No, it's about the traveling. Oh goodness gracious! Whoever is going to be traveling within the next 2 weeks, I'm sorry to tell you, you might be fucked. I'm just saying, stating the truth. I'm sorry if I offended you, but it's the truth. You might be screwed. Let's watch. Put the sound.
Look over the airport in Miami, a lot of people there, but honestly, on a usual day, that place is pretty packed. Now, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has issued a warning. He says if the government shutdown
Smells
continues,
good.
he could force airlines to cut up to 20% of their flights. The Federal Aviation Administration yesterday instructed airlines to cut 4% of flights, and that happening at 40 major airports because of the staffing shortages. Those cuts expected to rise to 10% by next Friday. Over the record-long shutdown, 13,000 air traffic controllers and about 50,000 security screeners have been forced to work without pay, and that's led to an increase in employees not showing up for work. Many air traffic controllers learned just days ago that, again, they would receive no pay for a second pay period. That'll be next week. Sean Duffy speaking with Fox News about all of that, and here is a quick clip.
We are going to implement a 10% reduction in flights over the course of the next week. And again, that becomes, that is from the data that we see from our safety team at the FAA. We see additional triggers or stats that are going in the wrong direction. And we want to make sure we take out that pressure.
That's
from the
20%.
system
It went from 10 to
and
20.
Again, make sure the airspace is safe as Americans travel through it. So yes, you're going to see more cancellations. We're still going to watch the staffing triggers. What that means is air traffic controllers are calling in sick. That happens in different parts of the country. As that happens, you'll also see additional delays throughout the American airspace. Air traffic controllers aren't being paid, and they're being forced to take secondary jobs. Again, whether it's waiting tables or driving Uber, instead of coming to towers and doing their day jobs because they're paying for the necessities of their family, food, gas, rent or mortgages. And let's end the shutdown and let's let the Congress debate their issues, but let's not hold the American people hostage and air travelers hostage by the shutdown that's going on to a historic level right now.
All right, and we want to hear from you. Have you experienced flight delays or cancellations recently? And by that, we mean over the past several days, maybe last several weeks here. If you do want to cast your vote and have your voice heard, just scan that QR code top right-hand side of your screen or go to livenowfox.com/connect. We'll be checking on that over the next several hours and bring you those results as they do update live here on your screen. But again, your options, yes or no. Have you experienced flight delays or cancellations recently? Just grab your phone and scan that QR code top right-hand side of your screen or go to livenowfox.com/connect.
Damn, 100%.
Talk more about all of this here and what we can
Wait,
expect
this
if
is
the
100%.
shutdown does continue. Let's bring in Daniel Bubb, former
Everybody's
airline
getting
pilot and
affected.
professor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And Daniel, I told you I would say the name of the state wrong, and it appears that I just did that. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And first off, I do want to ask you overall here what a 4%, a 10%, and potentially a 20% flight reduction looks like at airports nationwide.
Yeah, it's significant, and we significant delays. We're going to see flight cancellations, and it's adding an additional layer of stress onto the traveling public. Some people are already kind of nervous flyers, particularly people who don't fly very frequently. And especially now that we're getting into the holiday season, could be a source of major concern for everybody. And of course, as you pointed out, Josh, the air traffic controllers, the TSA agents who are not getting a paycheck, who are taking secondary jobs, and it's just a no-win situation for anybody. Everybody loses on this. And I agree with Secretary Duffy. We need to end the shutdown as soon as possible so that people don't have to stress over this. and air traffic controllers and TSA agents don't have to stress over not getting a paycheck.
And you're looking once again at the live results coming in. It's about 50-50 as far as whether or not you've seen delays or cancellations. You can still scan that QR code, top right-hand side of your screen. Have flight reductions of this scale, this magnitude occurred before when you're talking about so many big airports?
I haven't personally seen anything of this scale pertaining to a shutdown. And the people who are going to be impacted the most as far as air travel goes are smaller regional airports because they don't have as many flights. The larger hub airports have many flights. And so they may be able to weather this. They'll certainly take a hit. But particularly the smaller airports are going to be the ones impacted the most by this.
How quickly can these delays, these cancellations kind of make their way through the network and cause even more cancellations and delays? Because you imagine it's kind of like, I guess, a domino effect where one domino falls and then the rest of them do.
It's like throwing a stone in a water and you see the ripples kind of go out. That's what happens with air travel because we're so connected. One delay at a major airport like Chicago O'Hare, Atlanta Hartsfield,
it messes up the whole system
for everybody nationwide and even the world. So it can happen very quickly.
What are some of the primary risks when you're talking about flight safety, efficiency, all of that, when you do have operations that are limited? And also you talk about these workers who are not being paid.
Right. Safety obviously is paramount. We want everybody to be able to travel safely. We want our flight crews to be able to travel safely. We don't want our air traffic controllers to be overworked for the ones who are working 6-day weeks, working overtime. Fatigue begins to set in, and that's a major concern. So that's why the government has what they call these triggers, where they're trying to minimize the fatigue, where they're really trying to ensure that the public can travel safely by air.
What happens if the shutdown were to end here in the coming hours? Because the Senate has said that they could potentially vote tomorrow once again in the hopes of passing something and getting this along. If the shutdown were to end now, does that change anything? Do we feel the impacts on air travel immediately? Do things come back to normal, or does it kind of take a while?
It takes a little while for everything to come back to normal. Certainly for the airlines, they'll be able to bring back those flights that they've been having to cancel. That takes a little bit of time. But I think particularly for the TSA agents and the air traffic controllers, it's still going to take weeks for them to get their paychecks, any back pay that they're due. And so to answer your question, the whole process is going to take a little while. So it would be nice if we could end the shutdown so that we can get things back to normal. But it's going to be a number of days, perhaps even weeks, before we actually see it again.
Yep.
What do passengers maybe need to do differently as all of this is ongoing? Because we always say,
be more patient.
We always hear from airport officials, arrive at least 2 hours early, check your flight before you head out. Is there anything else that those passengers need to do to minimize travel disruption?
Sure. There are a number of things they can do. First, try to catch the early morning flights. You have less of a likelihood of having your flight canceled or delayed. Also, airlines allow passengers now to check the seat map. So if you look at the seat map on a plane and it's full, those planes are going to fly. If they're half full, quarter full, then there's a fairly decent chance they'll be canceled. Also, as Barry Biffle, who's the CEO of Frontier Airlines, suggested, you might buy a second plane ticket as a backup, just in case your first ticket.
People don't have money to buy a second ticket.
So those are the things I would recommend. And airlines
People
are
don't have
trying
money
to
to
be
buy a
proactive
second
about
ticket.
this. They're trying to notify people. They're waiving change fees. People have the opportunity to get a full refund if they'd like. So there are a number of things that travelers can do. But overall, and I know it's really, really difficult, particularly when it's a stressful time, when it's really busy. But if everybody can just really be patient, that's really what it's going to take, is just being patient, try to work with the airlines, try to just kind of go with the flow as best you can. That would be my recommendation.
And you're taking a live look here at some of the airports. We have them coast to coast. We have LAX there on the top left-hand side of your screen. Bottom left is Nashville International Airport. Top right, that is over in Seattle. And bottom right, that's in St. Louis. So what I wanted to ask you is, we know that for the most part, and this is something that people will argue, but Atlanta seems to have the busiest airport. You have the airports in New York as well. Are there specific airports that could potentially be impacted more than others?
Sure. You're probably going to see larger airports like Atlanta, like JFK, like LAX, see numerous delays and cancellations. But again, because those are hub airports, because they're so big, they can weather those. But it's really the smaller regional airports where maybe you only have a few flights a day. Those are the ones that are going to be impacted the most. Those are the air travelers that are going to be impacted the most. So, and what airlines also do is they're going to look at their routes that are the busiest and that are the most profitable. They'll certainly fly those. The ones that are not, probably either delay or cancel those flights.
I'm actually thinking about your tips as I prepare to fly, because checking that seat map is a really good idea to see if the flight's full, but also traveling early, because so many people will say, I don't want to wake up early. I'd rather wake up later on in the day. But hey, if that's the best way to go about it, I'm sure a lot of people will follow that there. And Daniel, Bub, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. This is a story, of course, that is going nowhere anytime soon. So we're going to continue to check in with you and other experts here. Anything we missed, anything you want to make sure to add here before I let you go?
No, thanks again for having me. It's a real pleasure being with you. And I think just to the public, my heart's with them. Like I said, I know it's really hard, but if people can be patient, that's really what it's going to take. I know there are going to be delays. I know it's going to be hard, but if you can work with the airlines, they're trying to be proactive about this, which is good. And so I think if everybody can just kind of be patient, that's the best thing. But some of the tips I recommended, I would certainly encourage your viewers to strongly consider those.
For sure. Thank you again for taking the time to be here. We definitely appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Josh. Have a great weekend.
You too. And I do want to pop this up on your screen because overall it's been about 50-50 here. We're asking the question, have you experienced flight delays or cancellations recently? And of course, recently meaning maybe the last few days or weeks here. As of right now, about 45% of you say yes and 55% say no. If you do want to cast your vote and have your voice heard, just scan that QR code top right-hand side of your screen or go to livenowfox.com/connect. We will continue to cover this and, of course, bring you the updates on the situation in general, but also a look at the delays and cancellations as they continue.
Wow, that's crazy. There's going to be a lot of cancellations because, listen, the government's not open. So people are not getting paid. So people are not going to work. And we're talking about TSA agents. We're talking about, the airlines industry, right? Because that's very important. But not only that, but all of the other government employees, even the little ones are not getting paid. And it's very frustrating. And we're here thinking about, how are we going to survive and stuff. And it's like, how about them? How are they going to survive? How come there's a lot of things happening that the Democrats are just doing to people, and yet the Democrats don't see it. Like, they don't see that their own people are screwing them over. And it's like, I'm telling you, they're going to flip on the Democrats, and it's going to be hard for the Democrats to get anything done because people do forget, I guess, like 9/11. A lot of people forgot about 9/11, and then they end up voting like Zohan Madani in. Crazy. Yeah, people are probably short-minded, but sometimes, once in a while, you need a rude awakening, and that's what Zohan is, the rude awakening. But yeah, let's continue on with the news, or some news here. And then pretty soon I'm going to be wrapping it up. I got a back-to-back on Tyson the Cruz, so that's a very good thing for tonight. Let's do a little housekeeping here. Let's check out this story. Oh, it's about Diddy. Diddy, dum, Diddy, do. Yeah, Diddy, what did you do now? Let's find out. Let's put the volume up.
Wine turns out is a misnomer. The toilet is mostly a hiding place, and God knows it is not really wine, right? And Sean Diddy Combs is not the first prison inmate to get busted with it, allegedly. But Diddy may be the first to have once owned a vodka brand worth upwards of $1 billion. That would be Ciroc, which sold officially earlier this year for a fraction of that price. Ciroc is distilled 5 times from the finest French grapes, or so it claims. Toilet wine, on the other hand, is a fermented combo of Fanta, sugar, and apples. And though there are many variations, they are all alcoholic, which is the point, and all strictly off limits in lockup. But TMZ is reporting that Diddy has been caught with the stuff, this week, in fact. He did have a birthday on Tuesday and was going to be moved to a new unit, apparently, as punishment, but the officials changed their minds, according to the report. But that still leaves the question of Diddy's alleged newfound sobriety.
He's making partners. He's doing deals behind bars.
And whether this will have any impact on that sentence.
This guy's making deals behind bars.
Hard-won expertise on all of this is our friend Gene Borello, a former mob enforcer and ex-federal inmate. Gene, I have been dying to talk to you about this. Every time I hear toilet wine, I keep thinking, do you stir it in the toilet? And if so, how is it clean? And how on earth do you make a duty? But I have come to learn, no. So for our audience, can you explain what it is and how it's made?
Yeah, so it's called hooch. Basically, is different ways to make it. You can make it with orange peels. You can make it with sugar. It's all different ways. But what a lot of people don't know, and why it is serious in prison, it can blow up. So if you don't know what you're doing and you don't let it breathe, as they say, it could actually be like a bomb. So it actually can blow up and everything will spray everywhere. But it can get you drunk, and it could also land you in the hole. So, I mean, I don't know as far as them saying he's going to move him out of the unit. I know it's a very serious ticket. I know he could lose his phone. He could lose commissary, and he could lose visits, and also maybe go to the SHU for up to 30 days or maybe more.
So, I mean, that's all serious stuff. I keep wondering about the sentence. Do you not think it's possible, especially since he campaigned, in his sentencing, that he was getting sober? He'd been working, on a sobriety at the MDC. And now he's at Fort Dix. And if this is true, if the report's true, might they say, well, screw it. You're not getting your 15% off your federal sentence.
Right. So it don't work like that. But every ticket in the feds, if it's a certain degree ticket, you will lose some good time. We call it good time. In New York State and federal prison is two different. You could actually lose your good time in New York State or any state prison and get your good time back. The feds, once you lose it, you can't get it back. So if he does lose 20 days, 40 days for this, he cannot get it back, or whatever they recommend for him to lose, because they will recommend days to be lost on this kind of ticket.
Okay, let's get back to making it. I know you gave me the ingredients.
Right.
I want you to tell me how you put them together in the burping, which is interesting. But before you do that, how is the toilet involved? Because in my mind, whenever I heard toilet wine, I imagine an inmate stirring, the hooch in the toilet bowl, but that's not it.
Right.
So explain what actually happens.
Well, they usually get a big garbage bag, like a big clear bag. I've seen it done in a garbage bag, and they'll put it in the toilet and then let it sit in there. You know what I mean? They won't actually put it in the toilet bowl. You get what I'm saying? With the water. You know what I mean, right? You're not actually stirring it in the bag,
in the tank, yeah. So it's in a bag and it's hidden in the toilet tank, not in the toilet bowl.
Not in the toilet bowl.
And that's just.
It takes a while to make. It takes a while to make. It's not just an overnight thing. This takes days to make it. And remember, it smells really bad, so you have to have a good hiding spot. It's very strong.
Oh, it does smell. Okay, so that's the other thing. So the toilet tank is what you're hiding it from the view of the guards, not necessarily the temperature of the toilet tank is, optimal for the fermentation of the lovely hooch, But so they put it in the toilet tank, and then how does the toilet tank fill up with water to flush? You pull it out, do your business and flush, and then put it back in?
Yes. So like I said, these people that usually do make it are very good at it, and they actually charge to make it. So in prison, in federal prison, everything's a business. So he probably paid somebody to actually hold that in their cell and make it for his birthday. I guess it was his birthday that came up, and they will make this alcohol beverage for you. But what's confusing to me is that when you're in the feds, usually there's a crooked CO that'll just bring you in an actual bottle of vodka. So I don't know why they even made it.
Serious?
Yes. Yes.
Dang. Okay.
Yes.
So the whole thing you just said about them selling the toilet wine, I feel like Diddy wouldn't have to buy it. There'd be a lot of people who'd want to be friends with Diddy, and they'd be handing it over. Really?
No, they know how much money he has. Everybody's so happy that he's in the jail right now because they see
Yeah, of
currency.
course.
So all they're doing right now is going up to his cell and trying to sell him everything that they have possible. Actually, trying to get on salary with him to make his bed, clean his cell, go extra shopping for him, extra phone calls, cell phones, anything they can. They're all going to his cell trying to sell something to him because they know he has money. They do it to everybody with money in those jails.
Wow, that's something. Let me quickly read the statement that Diddy's team put out when TMZ broke this news, because they really stopped short of denying it. But this is what they said. Mr. Combs is in his first week at FCI Fort Dix and is focused on adjusting, working on himself, and doing better each day. As with any high-profile individual in a new environment, there will be many rumors and exaggerated stories throughout his time there, most of them untrue. We ask that people give him the benefit of the doubt, the privacy to focus on his personal growth with grace and purpose. Here's the question. Do most people screw up in just the first few weeks? Because I think he's only been there less than 2 weeks.
But like I said, everyone does.
Yeah,
So,
toilet wine.
You know, when you get with your people, so in the feds, he's hanging out with all the New York guys. The feds are very segregated, so you're going to go with your own. So in the federal system, he's with the New York car. They call it cars. So he's with his car, which is the New York car, and he's with all his New
He
York
looks
guys.
too happy.
And whatever's going on in that car, he's a part of it and hanging out with everybody. So if they're all drinking hooch, they're all doing this, you know, that's just what goes on. You know what I mean? He's going to be with his guys, and, you know, you never know what's going to be going on with them. And people tend to get in trouble a lot in these prisons. Very easy.
Gene Borrello, I would be in your car any day of the week. I can't tell you how much I learn from you every time you're on. Thank you so much for always schooling me on this, and I appreciate you sharing and being candid.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Actually, have me on.
Yeah, don't be making no hoochie. Don't make no hooch, you little hoochie. Yeah, that's very crazy. You know, just weird times we're living in. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's a weird time, and is it gonna get better? Buckle up. It's just the ride just started. The roller coaster ride just started. So make sure your seatbelts are working, because sometimes they don't work. That's wild. All right, let's see what we got next. All right, I don't know what this is about. Let's check it out together. All right, I guess it's a police officer body cam. All right, let's see what this body cam is about.
How you doing, ma'am?
I didn't take anything.
Okay. Come on, walk with me. All right.
I didn't take anything, sir. I mean,
come on and walk.
Foot
pursuit
He ran.
Slide out. Foot pursuit for Dillard. White female, gray top, blue jeans, brown hair.
Where did he go?
Towards Old Navy, trying to get the car. What? Silver Buick. Get out! Stop! Stop the vehicle! Stop it! HBH 031, Mississippi. HBH 031, Mississippi. Silver Buick going towards Marshalls.
Hop in. Oh, the Good Samaritan said, hop in. What?
Follow him. Go.
it was away. Was it this one?
They went left.
He's telling her what to do.
I don't know where they went.
They're right there. They're going around the back.
Go and give them there.
They're moving right.
They're turning right towards, on Town Center, towards the circle.
Damn, the Samaritan's driving.
Vehicle with a civilian. I'm going to try to keep sight of him. Just go. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You were running and I was trying to...
Going up towards Primo? 10-4. It turned right onto Town Center towards the circle. Trying to see if I can keep sight of them somewhere. They're around the circle towards Town Center.
You see them?
Yeah. They're going around the circle.
All right.
They went around the circle already. You're up ahead in traffic. So I'm at Primo and 10.
Yeah, catch your
It's a
breath,
white
dude.
male driver, beard.
Oh, this is perfect for
white
him.
female, brown hair, gray shirt, blue jeans, thin build.
Yo, if the cop says, listen, break the law,
Center where I can
she'll
see
haul ass.
which way.
But she has to follow the
This middle
law.
lane.
Even having a lawman in the car.
Trying to see if I can spot it in
This
the
is
traffic
awesome.
circle. It's right in front of a gray dot. It's in front of a black. It's in front of a black Dodge in the right lane, getting ready to turn towards the interstate. Behind a silver SUV in front of a black Dodge pickup, HBH 031.
We got it. Okay, yep. Okay, there you go, sir.
Go, 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 go. Thanks for your service. You heard her? What? She said thanks for your service. Oh, backup officers is responding. Oh, this is fun.
Center,
I
where I
like
can
this.
see it turn on, which way? It's middle lane. Trying to see if I can spot it in the traffic circle. It's right in front of a gray Dodge. It's sort of a black. In front of a black Dodge in the right lane, getting ready to turn towards the interstate. Behind a silver SUV in front of a black Dodge pickup, HBH 031. We got it.
We got it. Okay. He's ready to jump out of that car. Here he goes. There he goes.
Get out of the vehicle! Shut it off! Shut the vehicle off! Stop! Do not move! Put your hands up!
Damn.
Get out! Don't get on the ground. On the ground.
I didn't do
Yeah, because he ran away.
Hey, my car's rolling, sir. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you fled.
Sir, what did I do?
And you took that
Right, two in
chick. Where's the
custody.
chick?
Code 4, everybody back it down.
What did I do?
Roll over. Hey, look at me. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney, have one present with you while you're being questioned. You cannot, a 411 be appointed to represent you for any question. So at any time to exercise your rights, not answer any questions, make a statement. Do you understand your rights? You know exactly why. Get up. We're not grabbing nothing.
Oh, shit. That cop is not playing with him. Nice. Yo, that was good by the Samaritan. Oh, my God.
He has
Thank
not
God for
been
the
patted down
Samaritan.
yet. Get a car.
Oh, he fled. He took off and ran off with, like, the cop. Like, the cop told him to stop.
I'm right here.
Oh,
I
you're
didn't
the
do
rest.
anything, sir.
Shut up.
I'm not taking anything.
What? That was so fucking cool. I'm sorry. I just thought that was so freaking cool. She definitely, that person that helped, I don't know who she was, but she definitely deserves an award, like a citizen's like award. Like, I'm pretty sure the police department is already getting that ready for her and is going to have a press conference and everything because of that Good Samaritan. That officer was able to get to the criminals and get them arrested. So, wow, that is so cool. That's really cool. Oh, man. Yeah, but that was a good teamwork. That's for sure. All right, here we go. We got back-to-back Tyson Little Crews. So if you're here watching, thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. And let's go ahead and watch some Tyson. Let's go ahead and set it up. And let's enjoy.
Sex spies from China and Russia are now emerging across the U.S. to try and steal the country's technology and state secrets.
America, we've got a massive security crisis that nobody's really talking about. Chinese and Russian sex spies are targeting Silicon Valley tech workers and stealing our most sensitive technology secrets. But here's what's really pathetic. These computer engineers and cybersecurity guys are getting completely played by hot foreign women who are using the oldest trick in the book. If you're a lonely programmer who suddenly has a beautiful woman interested in your work, she's probably a spy, and you're probably about to become a national security threat.
So it's basically documentary. They want to kind of like to prove and bring all the evidences of the existence, the program sex espionage.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly shows how our enemies are playing chess while we're playing checkers. While American tech bros are worried about their dating apps, foreign governments are sending professional seductresses to steal technology that keeps America ahead of China and Russia. Let me break down how sophisticated this operation really is. We're not talking about random women trying to get information. We're talking about professionally trained operatives who go to actual spy schools to learn how to seduce and manipulate American men.
There are actually schools for training young men and young women in becoming sex spies.
According to former CIA operative J. Michael Waller, there are actually academies in Russia with model American towns where they train these operatives. They learn everything: how to do the pickup, how to make targets feel important, how to play their egos and insecurities.
They go on to say, China and Russia are sending attractive women to seduce tech workers, even marrying and having children with their targets.
And get this, these aren't just one-night stands or casual relationships. The Times reports that these spies are marrying their targets and having children with them. That is the ultimate long game, building entire fake families just to steal American technology. But here's what makes Silicon Valley such a perfect target. These tech workers are isolated, overworked, and socially awkward. They spend all day behind computers and don't have much experience with women. So when a beautiful foreign woman shows interest in them, they become what experts call very weak targets. Now, let me tell you why these Silicon Valley guys are getting played so easily. We're talking about brilliant engineers and programmers who can build incredible technology, but they have zero game when it comes to women.
Especially in Silicon Valley, where men are so easily, they're easily targeted because they're very nerdish, kind of maybe they're genius in IT and technology, but definitely not in dating. So they are very easy targets.
This former Russian sex spy, Alia Rosa, nailed it perfectly. These guys are nerdish and might be geniuses in IT and technology, but they're definitely not geniuses in dating. They are very easy targets for female agents who know how to manipulate their egos. Sounds like every woman.
These Silicon Valley guys do not. A lot of times they're arrogant, bright, tech entrepreneurs
with a lot of money,
sometimes not equipped with, all of the social skills.
Former CIA operative Lindsay Moran explains the problem perfectly. People in the defense industry get extensive training on counterintelligence threats, but these Silicon Valley guys have no idea how to recognize that they're being a target. Of course, these hot, dolled up women are going to easily manipulate a coder or computer engineer into providing them with information. This is what women have been doing since the beginning of time, using what they got to get what they need. The only difference now is that they're being weaponized by foreign governments. Let me break down exactly how these sex spies operate, because their techniques are absolutely diabolical. According to the former Russian operative, they use something called the 7 touches method before they even approach their target.
They would create a fake account of a female, a beautiful, sexy, I don't know, whatever, wearing bikini. So it's kind of eye-catchy.
Then they start appearing in your life 7 different times before they actually talk to you. They show up at your coffee shop, your gym. They like your social media posts. By the time they approach you, your brain already trusts them because you've seen them before.
Pretending also to be the victim, that, she's in this weak position. I'm alone, I'm by myself, I'm a student, don't have money, my parents are killed, blah, blah, blah.
Then they start the victim narrative. They're triggering what she calls the hero instinct because every man wants to feel like a hero, but it's all completely fake. And here's the sick part. They use something called milk technique where they fake mutual connections. They follow your friends on social media or claim to know your colleagues. Oh, Bill is my brother's friend, or I know that guy from work. It's all designed to make you think you have legitimate connections when everything is fabricated. Once they get these tech bros hooked emotionally, the real psychological warfare begins. These spies are trained to isolate their targets from support systems and make them emotionally dependent. Sounds like a classic simp.
You know, it's like sort of gaslighting when the agent, the fake account, would put you into this underestimating of yourself, to have doubts about yourself.
They start with compliments and love bombing, then they begin gaslighting. Your boss doesn't appreciate you. Your colleagues are using you. You're not being paid enough. They're all planting seeds of doubt and making the target feel undervalued at work while positioning themselves as the only person who truly understands and supports them. The targeting is incredibly precise. They're looking for lonely geeks behind the computer who don't have a life, the socially awkward person, or just somebody who wants to go out and have a good time. These foreign intelligence services have studied American psychology and know exactly what buttons to press. The unsuspected computer engineer or cybersecurity guy who suddenly gets attention from a beautiful woman is going to spill all the beans. It's human nature, especially for guys who don't normally get female attention. Now here's where this gets really dangerous for American national security. These spies aren't just after random information. They're targeting specific technology that gives America our competitive advantage.
If you think about what they're going after, right? Tesla self-driving software, Amazon Web Services, the data, NVIDIA chips designs, Meta user-based information, so everything on Facebook, everything on Instagram, vaccine drug formulas, all of this kind of stuff.
This isn't just corporate espionage. This is stealing the technology that keeps America ahead of our enemies.
Creating stressful situations where, for example, FOMO, like fear of missing something, right? So, oh my God, we have to do it right now. If you will not give me this article right now or this information right now, my boss will punish me and I will like lose this, or you will lose me forever. Like, you know, creating this fear.
When they're ready to extract information, they create stress and fear. If you don't give me this information right now, I'll disappear forever from your life. Under that emotional pressure, after months of building trust and dependency, these guys give up secrets they would have never normally shared. And the extraction isn't always about sex for secrets. Sometimes it's just emotional manipulation, making the target feel important, playing into their ego, and gradually getting them to share more and more sensitive information. We've already seen how effective these operations can be. Remember Eric Schwadwell and Fang Fang? This Chinese spy got so close to a sitting congressman that she probably helped him fundraise and probably had access to classified information. Schwadwell was on the House Intelligence Committee. That's where America's most sensitive secrets are being discussed. And this fool got compromised by a foreign agent who was probably reporting everything back to Beijing. The man faced zero consequences and is still in Congress today.
No 25-year-old woman is going to want to be hanging around me for that kind of thing. You're a spy.
Michael Waller had his own experience with a Chinese spy in Poland. A 25-year-old attractive woman approached him, already knew details about his background, and tried to get him up to his hotel room. When he called her out as a spy, Polish authorities threw her out of the country within days. But unfortunately, Silicon Valley guys don't have that kind of training or awareness. They are sitting ducks for these professional operatives. This isn't just about individual engineers getting played. This is about America losing our technology advantage to countries that want to destroy us. China and Russia are using sex as a weapon to steal innovations that keep us ahead in the military and economically. The US government has gotten so concerned about this threat that they've banned American personnel working in China from having romantic relationships with Chinese citizens. If you violate this policy, you get kicked out of the country. That's how serious this problem has become. But Silicon Valley companies aren't taking the same precautions. They're more worried about diversity training and pronouns than they are about foreign intelligence services targeting their employees. Meanwhile, these tech workers are getting manipulated by professional operatives who've been trained since they were teenagers to seduce and exploit American men. It's psychological warfare, and we're losing because we're not even fighting back. America, this sex spy operation shows exactly how our enemies are exploiting our weakness. While companies in Silicon Valley are focused on woke politics and social media drama, China and Russia are sending beautiful women to steal our most sensitive technology. These Silicon Valley guys need to wake up and realize that if a gorgeous foreign woman is suddenly very interested in their work, she's probably a spy. If she's a 10 and you're nowhere near that league, she's a spy. The techniques these operatives use are sophisticated and effective because they exploit basic human psychology. Lonely men want attention, validation, and companionship. Foreign intelligence services are weaponizing those desires to steal American secrets. Our technological advantage is what keeps America safe and prosperous, and we're literally giving it away because some programmers can't resist a pretty face. The Chinese and Russians are playing the long game, building relationships, creating families, and spending years extracting information. Meanwhile, American companies are more concerned about hurt feelings than national security. Tech bros, stop being a simp. It's time to get serious about protecting our technological secrets before we lose our competitive advantage to countries that want to see America fail. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comments section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
For a great upload. Yeah, it makes me question like Mark Zuckerberg and his like wife, and a lot of these like big techs, and they have like Chinese wives. It makes you go, things that make you go, Yeah, that's one that truly makes me go, I don't know. Some cases you say to each their own, but when you got like maybe espionage going on, there might be a problem. Let's see. We got the last here of Tyson de la Cruz for the night. I want to say thank you for those who came through. I appreciate you guys so much. And it's going to be the last video of the night. I can get to bed early and have a great start to my Sunday. It should be raining tonight here in Connecticut tonight. It's going to possibly rain. Let me see. Be a good amount of little rain coming through. But it's going to get cold. It's going to get real cold, especially Tuesday morning. So, yeah, especially Tuesday morning. It's going to be like 27, 25. Some places. With the wind, we're talking about easily probably like 23 with the wind. That's cold. I'll be ready for it. But today was a beautiful day, so it was all good. But we are going to get rain maybe a little bit tonight, but tomorrow is when we're going to get that rain. Let me see here. Yeah, it's going to be definitely tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, going to get some rain until about 7. And then again, the next day, Monday morning, it's going to be raining throughout the Monday, all throughout Monday. But the temperatures are going to come down that Monday going to Tuesday morning. They're going to have areas where the temperature is going to reach in the low 20s here in Connecticut. So bundle up. Because when it gets cold, it gets cold. So fill in the blanks on what I said there. And let's catch this last episode of Tyson de la Cruz. Let's put up the sound. That'll work.
By the Cook County Sheriff's Office moments after witnesses say they were demonstrating peaceful peacefully in the middle of the street.
America, we just witnessed the most pathetic display of suburban white mom privilege I've ever seen. 14 privileged women from Oak Park jumped over barricades to form a human chain protecting illegal immigrants from deportation. The same illegal immigrants who use children as human shields when they flee into daycares. But here's what's really sick. These women have zero energy for the gang violence and drug dealers terrorizing Chicago communities. But they'll get arrested to protect criminals who broke our immigration laws. Don't these suburban white moms have a bake sale to attend?
Tanya, a group of 14 suburban moms, as they call themselves, were arrested a short time ago outside the Broadview ICE facility here after sitting in a circle blocking the middle of this road.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. You know darn well most of these women are probably either married to a simp or willfully divorced, because no real man would let his wife get arrested protecting criminals while their children are left without dinner and having to explain to teachers why mommy couldn't pick them up from school today. Let me break down the absolute hypocrisy of these suburban white moms who jumped over barricades to protect illegal immigrants. This all sparked after the illegal immigrant ran into a daycare and used children as human shields to avoid arrest. But somehow, these privileged women think the real victims are the criminals, not the children who were terrorized.
At least 14 people have been arrested in connection with protests right near the Broadview ICE facility. Cook County Sheriff's Department tells us they're working right now to identify the individuals and their charges right now.
My question is, where is this same energy for communities getting tormented by gang violence and drugs in the communities throughout Chicago? These women will drive from their safe Oak Park neighborhood to protect criminals, but they won't lift a finger to help American families whose children are getting shot by gang members or poisoned by fentanyl dealers.
Nobody was causing any damage. Nobody was causing any harm. There was no traffic being impeded. And now these very, very well-meaning mothers who are here to speak up for the voices of children who can't speak up for themselves were carried away.
Listen to this witness claiming these moms aren't causing any harm. Really? Obstructing federal law enforcement isn't causing any harm? Interfering with deportation of criminals isn't causing any harm? What about the harm to the rule of law and safety of American communities? Now, let me tell you about the disgusting way these suburban white moms are using their privilege to obstruct justice. Listen to what Teresa Shattuck from Oak Park said about why she got arrested.
We want to use our collective power and our white privilege in a way it should be used.
Did you hear that? She literally said they're using their white privilege to protect criminals from law enforcement. They know they'll get treated differently by police because they're privileged white women, and they're exploiting that difference to obstruct justice.
And our communities are living in abject fear, and it's time for people that look like us to take a stand and put our own physical bodies in front of those bodies.
Our communities are living in abject fear, and it's time for people that look like us to take a stand, put our own physical bodies in front of those bodies.
One person said they're using their bodies as human shields. Use that same energy when an illegal immigrant criminal is trying to kidnap an American teen. Where was this same energy when American children were being victimized by illegal immigrant criminals? Where were these so-called human shields when MS-13 gang members were terrorizing American communities? Let me highlight the interviews with these people and really contradict their narrative here. These women are claiming they're protecting innocent families, but they're actually protecting people who broke federal law and endangered children.
The moms sit in a circle and hold hands, chanting in peaceful protest.
They're sitting in a circle holding hands like they're in some kind of spiritual retreat, but they're actually obstructing federal agents who are just trying to deport criminals. This isn't peaceful protest. This is interference of law enforcement operations.
We are demanding that we have the opportunity to provide pastoral and spiritual care to those who are detained.
Father Michael was out here saying they need to get the hell out of Chicago. They need to get the hell out of Illinois. This is not acceptable. We're going to fight against them. This man is a priest telling federal law enforcement to get the hell out while defending people who broke immigration law.
Campaign of chaos. That's how they describe DHS's
Crazy.
Operation Midway Blitz immigration enforcement. Protesters say they're enraged by the terror being inflicted upon their communities.
Megan Carter called immigration enforcement a campaign of chaos and said agents are terrorizing their communities. But what's really terrorizing? Arresting people who broke the law or having illegal immigrants flee into schools and using children as human shields. We see this time and time again. These people have nothing better to do than obstruct law enforcement. While they get arrested, their children and cats are left with no dinner. Some poor suburban white kid had to explain to his teachers why his mom couldn't pick him up from school today.
My mom was protecting criminal illegal immigrants from getting deported.
They are organizing to demand an end to the separation of families by federal agents.
These women are demanding an end to family separation. But what about the American families that have been separated permanently because their children were killed by illegal alien drunk drivers? What about the American families destroyed by fentanyl brought in by illegal immigrant drug dealers?
Interfaith leaders gathered for a prayer service in front of the ICE processing facility shortly after the women were detained. They were joined by protesters who have been demonstrating out here for weeks.
We believe that our faith is stronger than fear and any chaos that they can create. So we're here standing in solidarity, letting people know that we're going to continue to fight.
They're holding prayer services for people who broke federal law. But where are the prayer services for American victims of illegal immigrant crime? Where are the candlelight vigils for American children who have been victimized by people who shouldn't even be in our country? The most infuriating part of this whole situation is that these suburban moms are living in their safe neighborhood in Oak Park and other western suburbs, protesting the arrests of people who were breaking federal law, while they don't even have to deal with the consequences of illegal immigration in their gated communities.
Of about 20 cars, I'd say, have been driving by the intersection of Beach and Lexington outside the Broadview ICE facility here, honking their horns with signs posted on their vehicles that say, "Hands off Chicago."
Look at this caravan of about 20 cars driving around with anti-Trump signs. These people have turned immigration enforcement into a partisan political issue instead of recognizing it's a matter of public safety and rule of law. They don't have to worry about their jobs being taken by people for below minimum wage. They don't have to worry about their schools being overcrowded. They don't have to worry about their neighborhoods becoming unsafe. But they want to tell the rest of us that we should just accept unlimited illegal immigration. These women are from the most expensive, safest suburbs in Chicago area coming to protest immigration enforcement. They're using their privilege to protect criminals while living in communities that are isolated from the consequences of their activism. While these suburban moms are getting arrested for obstructing justice, Operation Midway Blitz is delivering real results for American communities. This operation has been targeting illegal immigrants who are driving commercial vehicles without proper licensing or legal status.
We believe that our faith is stronger than fear and any chaos that they can create. So we're here standing in solidarity, letting people know that we're going to continue to fight for our people because we believe that we have the power to conquer.
They're talking about faith being stronger than fear. But what about the faith of the rule of law? What about the faith that our government will protect American citizens from people who broke our immigration laws? Operation Midway Blitz has removed dangerous drivers from our highways, including illegal immigrants operating commercial vehicles who couldn't speak English and didn't understand traffic laws. These are real public safety threats that these suburban moms should be more concerned about. But instead of supporting operations that make communities safer, they're getting arrested to protect the very people who make our communities more dangerous. The priorities here are completely backwards. The most tragic part of this story isn't the arrests of suburban white moms. It's what's happening to their own children while they're being arrested for protecting criminals. These women abandon their parental responsibilities to engage in political theater. Some poor white suburban kid had to explain to his teachers why his mom couldn't pick him up from school today. How do you think that conversation went? While these women were sitting in circles holding hands outside of an ICE facility, their own children were probably wondering where mommy was and why dinner wasn't ready. Their cats were probably hungry too, because these women prioritize protecting criminals over taking care of their own families. The Cook County Sheriff's Office says all 14 women were issued citations for obstruction and disorderly conduct. They'll probably get slaps on the wrist because of their privilege, but their children will remember why mommy chose to protect criminals over being there for them. America, this story perfectly illustrates everything wrong with suburban white liberal activism. These privileged white women have so little real struggle in their lives that they've invented a cause that requires them to protect criminals from law enforcement. They jumped over barricades to form human chains protecting illegal immigrants, the same illegal immigrants who use American children as shields when they flee into schools. But somehow these women think the criminals are victims and ICE agents are the villains. Where is this same energy for American communities being destroyed by gang violence and drug dealers? Where are these human shields when American children are being victimized by illegal immigrant criminals? The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering. These women using their white privilege to obstruct justice while their own children suffer the consequences of their misplaced activism. They're more concerned about protecting people who broke federal law than they are about being responsible parents to their own children. Don't these suburban white moms have a bake sale to attend? Don't they have a PTA meeting or soccer practice to worry about? Instead, they're getting arrested to interfere with federal law enforcement while their children are left wondering why mommy chose criminals over family. The priorities here are completely backwards, and it shows you exactly how disconnected these privileged white women are from the real consequences of illegal immigration that affect working class American families every single day. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Tyson, though, too, for a great upload again. Listen, mommy jumping over the the barrier to protest in front of an ICE facility, and she got arrested, and I don't have dinner on my plate tonight. That's fucked up. What does she tell her kid? Order pizza? I don't know. What the fuck is going on? Like, I'm pretty sure she probably left a note that says, like, here, son, here's $20. Order pizza. Mommy's not cooking tonight. Mommy's protesting. That's what she says to her kids. I'm like, you crazy son of a bitch. You're a crazy bitch. Are you crazy? You better get your ass in that damn kitchen and start cooking. Get the cooking. I need some food in my belly. Like, you know, it's like, I don't know. Just times are weird. We're living in very, like, I feel like, listen, when I died, the world died, and then I came back alive, and I'm just living in an alternate universe, and I'm just seeing things that would have happened if I would have stayed alive at that time. So I'm just living a different timeline, and this timeline is just exposing everyone, especially like ever since I got this mask over here, my voodoo mask. A lot of things been just happening, just things that you just wouldn't ever see in your lifetime. I'm watching it in my lifetime, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. But it's interesting. A lot of interesting things are gonna happen. 2026. Bring on the flames. Because it's going to be one hot year. That's for sure. It's just going to be crazy. It's like, when does it get better? It doesn't. Not until that rock hits us. It won't, you know, because maybe if 3A Atlas was to slow down and start heading towards Earth, I think then that's when we could say the Democrats will open up the government real quick. They're like, open that shit. Fuck it. Fuck Obama. I'm like, yeah, the truth comes out, right? Like, mm-hmm. And they still have the government closed, right? It's like because they want to fund that Obamacare bullshit and have more illegals take advantage of our system and use up all our resources and all our medicine and to cure themselves before they can go back to their country. And they, who pays for that bill? Guess what? The taxpayers do. Congratulations. They came, they used, they left you the bill. That's sad. That's crazy. You know what? It's Saturday night. I'm really tired. It was a great show. If you guys rewatch it, I appreciate it. Make sure to leave a like and all that good stuff that Tyson De La Cruz says. I don't say it really because people already know. You know, if they like it, they'll subscribe. If they like it, they'll leave a like. If they don't, then they don't. That's all good. But it was a good show. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I possibly will be here tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure yet. It is Sunday, so I like to take Sundays for me. I may come on to speak for a bit, you know, maybe keep a short show, maybe during the day or something. I'll come up with something, and yeah, then we'll see what happens. All right, guys, have a good night. Actually, good morning, good afternoon, good night, and I'll catch you on the flip side. And like I said, I'll probably come on tomorrow. I was gonna watch some football, but I'm like, you know, it's just watching it's kind of like watching Broadway, right? Because it's all fake and it's all manipulated. And I noticed the change. I know the difference between the 80s, 90s football compared to the 2000s. And now in 2025, like everything with the gambling and the opportunistics to make mad money, and all you got to do is say, "Yay, I'm not going to play in the fourth quarter." You know, bet the under and pass the word along, and then everyone just starts betting the under, and you end up winning big. That's what happened with the NFL. Well, not with the NFL. Well, the NBA, but the NFL is coming in play too. So this is a big scandal that they're exposing, and it has to deal with the cartels and with this legal gambling, this digital gambling. I don't have an account, a gambling account. I just don't need it, don't want it. More problems, you know, more money, more problems. Just why gamble with what you don't even have? You know, it's people get into trouble that way with gambling, and you got to be very careful. You know, you got to learn to say no and just don't do it. You know, enjoy yourself more than you would ever putting a dollar bill in any machine. Fuck that. They just take your money and they laugh at you. All right, guys, I'm not gonna laugh at you. I'm gonna say good night to you. So good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.